stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
And there he is, the accordion player, Dynamo. One of these days, we got to make it a point during one of these shows, all of us at the same time, go over to that guy's page, give him some love, give him some subs. We got to do that, man. We got to do it. The accordion guy rules. I love that guy. This is GreenBean. Welcome to the Thursday thick of it. I am supremely excited about this particular show. We have lots and lots of stuff to talk about. The offseason is starting to take shape a little bit. The speculation's out there. We got rumors. We got opinions. We got all sorts of stuff happening. We got F-bombs flying out of Flyin Park. It is absolute madness. But most importantly, I got my computer back from Apple today. And I am psyched about it. It turns out that with Apple Care, everybody, they essentially gave me an entirely new computer. I had it for 2.5 years. I used it, daily. It wore down a little bit, and they said, we'll give you a new one. So that's essentially what happened, and I'm very happy. I'm in positive spirits, but even more so, I want to remind you guys about a couple fun things, right? One is, guys, we are 4 subscribers away from 10,000 for this channel. 4 more of you got to hit that subscribe button, and we're going to breach the unbreachable from my perspective. Honest to God, guys, I mean this sincerely. When I started the channel, I literally had conversations with Ryan, Matt, and those guys and said, dude, if I ever get to 5,000, I'm going to be psyched. Like, that was literally my goal. 10,000 is something that not only tickles me, guys, but it makes me very, very proud, very happy, and excited. There are new allowances from YouTube once you get to 10,000. Very exciting new realm. I can't wait to explore with you guys. So thank you all for being here. We're going to give away a couple of t-shirts tonight for breaching 10,000, assuming we do. Assuming we do, of course, I'm going to give away a few t-shirts. I got them sitting right here in a box, unopened. We're going to show you those shirts, and we're going to send them to you in the mail as we breach 10,000 in celebration. But another great thing, guys, I'm going to tell you, we have a return co-host tonight that I am excited about. You guys got to meet him last week. Some of you guys already know him. Some of you guys didn't know him yet. But a lot of you guys told me that you loved them, so we're having him back. Frankie is still incapacitato. He's okay. It's work schedule stuff. He can't do this for the foreseeable future. He's fine, I assure you. At least that's what he told me. He could have been dead and told me he was fine. So I don't know, but that's what I heard. He's good. And we're going to bring back my good friend and new co-host for you, Mr. Gunny Gumby from New York Jets Situation Report. What is up, dude?
GreenBean, it couldn't be any better, man. I appreciate this opportunity to go ahead and just talk Jets with you, share it with the fan base, man. Like, this is awesome. Again, I got to bring it back, man. I didn't think 2 years ago finding your channel and just getting the motivation to start my own would ever result into this. And here I am. So I'm excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope y'all having a great night tonight.
Yeah, well, that's super cool, man. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? The truth is that we're just a bunch of dudes talking Jets. Like, that's the truth of it, right? But I had the same thing, like when Ryan was out there for a while, and I was on Jetnation, and I would literally take Ryan's videos from YouTube and post them on Jetnation. Hey, look at this guy. And like Jet Central and everybody. And I would post it and say, wow, these guys are cool. O'Leary. And I liked these guys. And then I find out Ryan was actually on Jetnation, and he says to me, hey, you want to come on the show? And I'm like, me? Like, really? Like, holy, I love that guy. You know what I mean? It's so cool. Now Ryan's one of my closest friends, and it's just a weird thing that happens. The truth is, look, we hung out at the game. We hung out at L&B.
Yep.
We had a good time. We're just a bunch of dudes wishing this abysmal franchise will get their head out of their asses, man, and actually do something.
I think the bond is strong through the misery we've all experienced over the last several decades. I think that's why the bond is so strong with us as Jets Nation.
Yeah. They call that shipwreck. Shipwreck. What is that scenario? Shipwreck syndrome.
Syndrome. Yep.
That's what it is. We're survivors. That's what it is. Niners fans, they're spoiled brats. Patriot fans, they don't know. They don't know anything. These guys don't know pain. Pain is where it's like getting forged in the fire, man. You know what I mean? And that's
pain
what
is weakness leaving the body. That's all it is.
That's right. Well, dude, I'm telling you what, we should be just about done now. That's what I think. So let's say hello to some people in the chat. Turtles started us off tonight at 6:13 p.m. Turtles came in here. Radovan Merkovic followed him. And again, a lot of you guys are asking me about Frankie. I want to assure you, man, I love Frankie. Frankie and everybody, we're all still cool. Frankie had a work schedule thing, a big change. It's a big shift in his life, and he just had to shift things and kind of address that, and that's where he is. So, again, he assured me all's well. It's just, hey, things are different, and that happens in life. So we'll be here when Frankie's ready to talk Jets with us. We'll talk Jets with Frankie. Everybody loves Frankie, as we know. Jets 830's in the house. Yeah, he's going to be fire tonight. Damn straight, man. Ant Jets is in there with his little Ant-Man. I love that. It's so funny that I thought the little character was Ant-Man. Turns out it wasn't, so he added the ant. Now it's Ant-Man. Oh, who knows? Hey, we figure it out. Day Boss is here. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, Day Boss. I'm on too much these days, Gunny. I don't even know what time of day it is anymore. I'm like, hello. I don't even know where I am. That's the way it is. That's what's going on here. Sir Robin's in the house. What's that?
I watched like 3 of your shows today.
I know, dude. It's a funny, honestly, man. I forget what I've already said. You know, I don't know. I might have to rethink my schedule here, Gunny.
No, not at all. Like, I appreciate it. It keeps me entertained during the workday. So by all means, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, good. There it is. Well, that helps. Ohio Jets fan is back. Yeah, speculation, Ohio Jets fan. My buddy Matthias Simon from the Greenhouse saying that he sent me something on Twitter. I may have seen that, Matt. Are you Matt Simon over there too, or are you somebody else? Like, big, tall Jets fan 6. I don't ever know what you guys. Everybody has 9 names. So I did see that. We're going to talk about Greg Roman tonight, Matt. We have that planned. I am just a little sneak peek. I'm a huge Greg Roman fan. I am a big supporter of the thought process that would lead him to be a Jet. It was the guy I wanted as our head coach 2 years ago. So it'd be nice to get him as the offensive coordinator. Sully's here. Twisted is here. Tyler Timpany is here. What's up, buddy? Glad to see you're not working. Or maybe you are. Maybe you are, Tyler. I don't know. You work a lot. Mark Riz is in the house. What's up, Mark? Jagaloons. That's right. Anthony G in the house. It's good to see you guys. No stream is really begun until we get the loving Jets heart from Jets Forever, right? It's very important, Gunny. It's very important. If it doesn't happen, I feel weird, He's
a staple.
He's a staple. Jennifer Slattery is here. It's always good to see you, Jennifer. Very opinionated. I'm telling you, she got some strong points, man. And that makes me happy. There should be more Jennifer Slatteries out there. We have a couple of females, but I think my female watch percentage is up to growing to a solid 3%. So we're getting there. It was 0.3% at one time. It's only 1. So now I have a few. It's nice. I like it. I talk football with lots of women in my life. So it's like, they know their shit. Why aren't they here with us? Right, Gunny? I welcome them.
I feel you on that. I will feel you on that. 3% is a huge uptick. So you're on the right track.
Well, and look, and you actually live with football women, woman.
I do. I really do. That's
right. So you know the deal. Harry's in the house. Welcome, Harry. Good to see you. That's right. Lou Chandler, Flight Right is here. Now I'm losing track. I got to catch up. I see. Who did I just see in here? There he is. DK's in the house. What's good with you? Good to see DK hanging around. As you guys know, Wat2K from New York Sports, Wicker Media, and the very world-renowned eater Jeremy from Jets Chaos is also backstage right now. We'll be bringing them on throughout the night to give their help and opinions to us. Finnegan's here. Murphy's here. There's you. That's you. So everybody wants to know that's Gunny right there. And so look, guys, again, I am 4 subscribers from 10,000. Let's see if we can finally breach this damn milestone. I wanted to do it by December 31st. I'll take, what is the date? January 9th. I'll take January 19th. Not too bad.
GreenBean, you just hit it, by the way.
Did I?
You just hit 10K. Yes, you did.
Oh my God. Did I really?
You sure did.
How do you know that? Who told you?
I'm watching this as we're
you're
also
watching. All right. Okay. Well, there you go. Jonathan, let's read Jonathan's super chat, and then we're going to give away a t-shirt for 10,000. That'll be good. Hey, thank you guys. I wonder who it was. I'd like to give one of them a t-shirt if I can figure it out. Jonathan Francois, our good buddy, resident Zach Wilson, critic in the house. Thank you for the super chat. He says, congrats on 10K. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Go Jets. Maybe it was you, Jonathan, but you've been subbed for a while, right? You've been subbed. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. And it has been it's been a road, and I look, man, it's fun. This is great. Again, I never thought I'd get to 10,000. Now, as numbers do, every time I've had hit a milestone in my bank account, as soon as I hit it, I think I need to double it. So that I know that how that goes. Now all of a sudden I want 15,000. I don't know what happened, Gunny. I just immediately I'm like, you know what I got to do? 15,000. That's what'll be better. Then I'll be happy. The
goalpost just keeps getting pushed a little bit further every single time.
That's it. It's ever elusive. Now, I want to ask you a few questions, Gunny, but I want to say that Steve Love. Let me tell you something. I want you to know I'm leading with my chin, assuming Jennifer Slattery is a woman. I'm just going with it. But you're right. Let me tell you something. There have been women's names in here before, and for whatever reason, I've had to contact them, or some people have won, and they've told me, like, look, that's not my name. You know what I mean? My name is Bob. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm just going with it until somebody tells me otherwise. Assuming is a dangerous sport, and I'm with you. So thank you for reminding me. But let's give away a t-shirt, Gunny, and then we're going to ask a few questions. I want to know about this Elijah Moore thing. We're going to start with the Elijah Moore thing tonight. Okay. A lot of stuff flew out today. So let me get this shirt I'm going to give away.
All right.
So this is an extra large, fresh out of the box, fresh off the mill. Look, I'm actually wearing the hoodie version of it right now. This is a What Would GreenBean Do t-shirt from Gildan. Very, very nice stuff. I love my t-shirts. I'm telling you, they're the best. I'm very happy. I wasn't happy with my original brand. I changed. I love them. So this is what we're going to do, guys. Very, very quickly. I'm going to do a number randomizer. I'm going to tell Gunny, okay? We're going to do this quick. We're going to do it 1 to 50. So we're going to get this guy quick. Okay. If you want the shirt, and if you want the shirt only, I want you to start guessing numbers. I'm going to put this in the chat. Here it is. Gunny can see it. Jeremy can see it. Y2K can see it.
I see the number.
All right, let's get going. I see Steve Love is the first number with
Not
24.
Yet.
I'm going to tell you that is wrong. Okay, let's go. Here they come. Let's see.
Oh, it's moving so fast.
So fast, dude. I need help. This is what it is.
I haven't seen it yet.
I know, crazy, right? Oh, so close. Look at that. So close.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Jeremy says it happened.
Oh, there it is. I found it.
Here comes Jeremy. Jeremy, it happened?
The first one I saw was James Thompson.
Yep, same here.
Is that who you got, Gunny?
Yep.
All right, so James Thompson. There it is. Hey, congratulations, James Thompson. So James Thompson, here's what you do. Wow, look at all those numbers. Holy shit. I was only like 25% through. It's crazy.
That's a really quick way to get hundreds of chats.
I know, right? It's the truth, man. Like if you want to make YouTube algorithm kick in with chats, if that helps, and yeah, give a shirt away. So James Thompson, here's what you do. My email is in the description of this video. It says bean@GreenBean Jetsfan. Go ahead. Send me an email with your information. Hi, this is James Thompson. Whatever your real name is, I don't care, but let me know it's you in the subject of the email. Give me your address. I'll send it out tomorrow morning. Okay. There you go. So congratulations.
Just so you know, Matt O'Leary guessed 69, just so you know.
Yeah. Well, it shows Matt O'Leary doesn't care. It's 1 to 50. He just wants to, he's just thinking about some stuff. He's in that headspace right about
His
now.
mind is elsewhere.
Exactly. So, all right. Thank you, Jeremy. I'll bounce you back on in a bit. There he goes. Jeremy was like freaking out. Hey, wait. It's over. It's over. So, hey, Matt O'Leary, what's up? He says, great run game guy. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore might revolt. Well, that's interesting. And let's start with exactly that, Gunny. I want to get your, no. Actually, let me move off the Greg Roman thing. I'll come back to that, O'Leary. I want to get your opinion today of what was released about Elijah Moore. Now, look, we know that Elijah Moore had a problem in camp this year. Very ill-timed problem, if you ask me. A 3-game win streak. The team's finally sucking on some positive energy. And this guy goes, I want to trade. And so nobody liked him. We had Jets fans burning their jerseys. We had guys, throwing them out, all kinds of stuff. And I think rightfully so, dude. Who are you to kind of ruin this first little buzz that we've had in 7-8 years, So I don't like the way he handled it. But it was an indicator that something was awry, right? Now, is that with Zach? We don't know if it was with Zach. We didn't know if it was with the scheme. I mean, he's out there playing. He was like third in snaps or what have you, but he's not getting any looks. He's not getting any receptions, and he got pissed off. So we knew all that. They sent him home, and he came back in. They made nice. He didn't exactly light up the NFL, but he folded back in and it kind of went away. Now we hear that he told LaFleur part of that blow up that they sent him home for was that he told LaFleur to go F himself in front of the whole team and also yelled, "You suck." So, first thoughts from Gunny. I'm very curious, man. I've been living in my head with this all day. So, what is your take on that? How do you see this? What does it mean from your perspective?
All right, first and foremost, I'm a big component of good order and discipline, right? Maybe it's coming from my military background, my parents, I don't know. And I remember when he requested the trade the way he did, I definitely had my opinion on him. And I went from being a big fan of Elijah Moore, I got an autographed helmet of Elijah Moore back here, to I might want to throw this thing away. They weren't so expensive, I probably would have, but I kept it. But I think when you sat back after the whole process kind of started to mull over a little bit and you realize, well, this is the second wide receiver in a 3-month window that asked for a trade.
Yep.
Of course, at the time, we didn't have all the facts, and I'm with you. I thought maybe it was Zach Wilson that was potentially the issue. This report refutes that. This report shows that, the concern and the issue that he had was with, in fact, Mike LaFleur. And that's saying a lot because coming into the season, I was a big advocate on the Jets not needing a wide receiver in the first round. I am not mad that we got Garrett Wilson. Very happy that we did. But I really believe that freaking Elijah Moore could be our number one guy. And we saw last year him do some pretty good stuff with, again, mid-quarterback play. And we were hoping for that next step in the process this year. So Elijah Moore regressing as much as he did this year was kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
And now in hindsight, we're seeing there was a disconnect between him and, of course, the offensive coordinator. Now, I don't want to sit here and pretend like maybe I know Mike LaFleur or that, there's no way this grown man was going to go ahead and hold a grudge and not get the ball to one of our most talented players on the offense. But it does kind of put a lot of pieces together. There was obviously a falling out, and it wasn't just him. Denzel Mims, of course, requesting the trade earlier on, who was a team player when he first came into the office and whatnot, on the team. I feel like there's some correlation to that. Now, again, I'm a big component of good order and discipline. I don't like the way he went about it. I'll be the first to admit that. Like, you calling the coach out in front of the team, telling him that he sucks, cursing him out. That's not the way you go ahead and go about a situation like this. Maybe a behind the doors conversation could have been had. He could have been more mature, more of a man about it, and talk to Coach LaFleur and behind closed doors. Hey, man, you're doing this, and this. It's not working. I think, if we tried this, and this, based off of the talent that we have on the team, might go a better way. Again, he's young. This is his sophomore year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe LaFleur would have listened. Maybe he wouldn't have. But again, him doing his part as a team player, as somebody who believes in his skill set, I think it might have resonated just a little bit better. The approach to me, I think, was where he flawed. But again, LaFleur's gone now. And I think that a lot of that comes to play when we're talking about how, we couldn't score a touchdown to save our lives, the last 4 games of the season. And a combination of, yes, the pieces he had to work with, but a lot of that, the play calling, I think Matt O'Leary, Jetset, like a lot of guys who do live streams were calling the plays as they were about to happen, which was very concerning. I'm like, man, if we're seeing this as a fan base, I can only imagine what the defensive coordinators are thinking. So there was obviously a situation where there might have been some legitimate components to why the frustration in the locker room was towards Michael LaFleur. I mean, again, I disagree with how Elijah Moore went about it, but we all felt those frustrations the last 2 months of the season as fans watching these games. So good news is he's gone, right? And hopefully now we can bring on a better candidate to potentially lead this offense to bigger and better things.
Yeah, well, look, you raised a couple of really interesting points. And, I'll start with, you can't forget that he was not the only person to request a trade. Now, we tended to look at those requests in a vacuum, right? We looked at Denzel Mims. Well, Denzel Mims, he's kind of an afterthought here. He wants to play. His agent said, look, clearly he has no future with the Jets, and he just wants to play, man. So we looked at that as very singular. And then you hear the Elijah Moore thing, and we took that and we, especially with the 3-game win streak and all that jazz, we looked at it as kind of a selfish, like, what the hell is this guy's problem? How about you get open or whatever? We know people were saying all kinds of things, but we didn't connect the two. So this is the second wide receiver in 5 weeks, really, that is asking for a trade from this offense. And then you look at it and you have quarterbacks, whether they're Zach, whether they're Mike White, whatever. At the time it was Zach, and they're struggling. So this development of quarterback thing isn't really happening. But one of the bugaboos that I had about LaFleur, while I have defended him, look, I watched the tape, I almost every game, I sit down, I spend time looking at the actual game film. I watch it 2 and 3 times some weeks, and I see a dozen plays every game where, look, the scheme worked. There's a breakdown in execution, and I don't think that's on the offensive coordinator. For the most part, if it's consistent, it's like when penalties happen. Like, hey, look, Saleh isn't the guy jumping off sides every, 3 times in one game. But that's it's definitely a coaching issue when that becomes systemic. Something's wrong, something you're not doing that is allowing that or what have you. So when you look at this, and you pointed out at the end of the season, that was 3 separate quarterbacks. Like, if we just take a step back and we look, we haven't scored a touchdown in whatever, how many quarters it was, 3 games, 4 games, fucking 5 games, whatever it was. That was Zach Wilson, that was Mike White, and that was Joe Flacco. So, yes, you can say all 3 quarterbacks suck. You can say all 3 quarterbacks, Zach and Mike White had injury things going on. So there's lots of stuff you can fold in, but at the bottom of it, you got guys asking for trades. You have weird player usage, like Michael Carter disappearing after the Buffalo fumble. Like, where did Michael Carter go? Did we don't like him anymore? Like what is that? I mean, he's proven he's a very effective back, both in the running game and passing game, and he's not on the field. Like, what is it? So there's all those kinds of, when you put it all together and look at it as a collective, you can see why Mike LaFleur is gone. And I'm sure that this is not all of it. I'm sure there's more. This is not these 5 issues are, no, there's more. There's definitely more. The fact that this came out, I don't know where it came from. I know it came from The Athletic, but I don't know where the source was. Was it Elijah Moore? Was it somebody else in there? Was it Mike LaFleur? Like, hey man, screw you. He's trying to make Elijah Moore look bad. I don't know what it is specifically. And if somebody knows, maybe you tell me, maybe I'm the one who doesn't know. But either way, it definitely paints a picture of, not everything's hunky-dory in the offensive side of this team. And when you have so much positive going on, you got to find the source of that. You have to find the root and get it out, no matter how much it hurts your feelings, no matter how many positives might be associated with it. Like I said, there's plenty of plays where the guy's scheming, is working. It's working. At the same time, man, if there's a systemic problem, you got to uproot it. And I think that, look, while I have said I wasn't necessarily on board with firing him, when you look at it through this lens and see it all this way, depending on who we get, of course, it does look like it was the right move at this point. And Gunny, maybe, just maybe there is hope for Zach Wilson. If LaFleur was that kind of hard to work with and turn people off, maybe there is hope for this guy, Zach Wilson. You think that could apply here?
Okay, so I don't think Zach Wilson is going to be the franchise quarterback that we all was hoping that he was going to be. I do believe with some of the stuff coming to light that there could potentially have been a hindrance in his growth and his progression. Like adding to what you're saying, right? Another reason why I think Michael LaFleur was potentially a bigger component than what we're all thinking about. Garrett Wilson is a very, very vocal athlete, right? One of the things I think we all appreciate about him was when they sucked, he said, we sucked. Like, this has to get better. This is a guy who in his rookie year broke every freaking rookie record we had at wide receiver minus the touchdown record, and still felt like, we could be significantly better. And a lot of times when you heard him talking, it wasn't just like with Zach Wilson on the field, it was also with Mike White on the field, right? So it leads one to believe that when he was saying some of the stuff he was saying, who was he really talking to? And now, again, in hindsight, you're looking at like, man, he was literally calling out Coach LaFleur in those situations when he was talking about the offense needing to get it together. I don't know if I can put it all on Coach LaFleur for Zach Wilson's like troubles and his downfall. Again, there was just so many easy passes this kid missed, man. Right. And at times you just looked at him and you thought, man, this kid could be special. And then more often than not, you'd be like, wow, this kid really doesn't see the field. And I think that with him, it could just be that the game is too fast for him. Let's not forget, he came from a small school. As much arm talent as Zach Wilson has, it doesn't mean anything if they can't slow the game down up here mentally. Maybe the idea should have been to sit the kid. And I'll be the first to tell you, I did a video early in the season really believing Zach Wilson this year was going to break every passing record the New York Jets
weren't alone.
I believed it. But as the season progressed, we saw, okay, maybe not the case, right? So for me, I'm not a believer in giving up on Zach Wilson. I'll be the first to admit that. I do believe that he's potentially a capable starter in the league, but I have since kind of like come off of the high horse of thinking maybe he's the next Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. And yes, I was that high on Zach Wilson.
Were you one of the guys? Hey, were you one of the guys thinking that he was the hybrid of Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
And Mahomes? Yep. Oh, you were on that train.
Me. I was that guy. Yeah, I was.
I'll tell you what, Gunny, in all truth, right? Like, I wasn't the biggest Zach Wilson guy coming out. I took a lot of heat for it, but I got to tell you, that argument, the hybrid, I had guys literally call me on the phone. There's some guys out there have my number and say, dude, you got to understand, Zach Wilson is a hybrid of Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I said, listen, that is where I fucking draw the line. I cannot fool myself into believing that whoever Trevor Lawrence, doesn't matter who it is, we're going to be so lucky to get a hybrid of the two greatest quarterbacks in recent, it's like outside of Tom Brady. So I don't know. I had trouble with that one, but I get it, man. Like, there was a lot of reason to be excited. And I catch heat for this one too. People tell me I'm a broken record. I still maintain that Greg Knapp was part of the collective that said, give me that kid. He's a very well-respected quarterback guru, a real one, not Adam Gase. Legit. Adam Gase stumbled into Peyton Manning, and he's somehow a quarterback guru. Greg Knapp is a quarterback, or was, respectfully, was a quarterback guru. He looked at that kid and said, he's got everything I give me that kid. Give me a year with him. I'll make him into whatever we need to. And I believe that. And when Greg Knapp passed away, it threw the whole thing into a tailspin. And I think that's unfortunate, man. I really do. All right, let's move on to E-Boogie real quick. Thank you for the super chat, E-Boogie. Sorry to make you wait a little bit there. Who's the most affordable quarterback the New York Jets can get this offseason? Well, it's probably Mike White, honest to God. I mean, if we're going to go that way, I would think Mike White, but I'll tell you what, if we're going to move outside of the box here, if we're, of our box, whether it's Flacco, Zach Wilson, Mike White, we're going to move on from any of those guys being the written in starter. I think the cheap route would consist of Gardner Minshew. I think that would be a cheap route. Jacoby Brissett. I think the top end of the cheap route might be Ryan Tannehill. He made his money. I don't see him commanding a similar contract. He'll get paid, but he's not going to get that top of the heap money anymore. I think Tannehill is probably the top monetarily of the cheap route. And there's all kinds. I mean, you can go out there and you can find all kinds of cheap guys. But I think as far as anybody kind of credible and really being considered, I think it's Minshew, Brissett, and maybe Ryan Tannehill. You have anybody else to add to that list? Who do you think would be a cheap quarterback option?
I think potentially Baker Mayfield. And
It's a
I
good
know
one.
that is not the popular opinion. And again, for the record, I don't want any of those guys. I have my heart set on a particular quarterback that I'm really hoping comes through. But in terms of that tier 2, tier 3 options for the Jets, I would throw Baker Mayfield in there. It's one of those situations where at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield still brought the Cleveland Browns out of purgatory and made the playoffs, right? So, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I wouldn't be happy for the Jets to not have the longest record for a playoff drought in the NFL. So I put Baker Mayfield in that category of cheap options, that tier 2, tier 3 option category for a quarterback option.
I think that's a good pull, man. It's funny. I was talking on Twitter and Instagram last night. I put out a couple graphics that I made about the quarterbacks, and a couple people have said, "What about Baker Mayfield?" I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, and I just forgot about him again entirely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like for some reason, he's really off my radar, man. But that's a good point. As much as I think I would be disappointed if it's Baker Mayfield, I would feel like they lost out on the guys they were trying to get, and that to me. It's just like with this Bevel thing, right? Like Darrell Bevel, he was when I looked around at who's available for offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevel was the guy that rose to the top for me and said, dude, if we can get this guy, we're on to something here. And the fact that he said, hey, look, I'm not going to take the interview. Now, if the Commanders weren't included in that, I would feel really bad today.
Same here.
It helps.
It did help.
It does. But two unappealing jobs, when you really look at it, I mean, there's a lot not to like about this job. I think adding the quarterback is going to, it's weird because I think you probably got to want to add the OC first, unless it's Carr and you get him right after the Super Bowl kind of thing. But I think Baker Mayfield is weird. He's kind of outside of what I would think is where they're going to go. But you're right. Baker Mayfield is a vast improvement over what we've seen here the last few years, whether that's Sandy Boy, whether that's Zach. I mean, Mike White has had his moments, of course, but consistency, he has not had that. Injuries, he's been injured. He's played 8 games for us, 9 games. He's been injured almost the entire time. So what does that tell you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's fluky. Maybe it's bad luck. I don't know. But the truth is he's been injured. I mean, we talk about other guys being injury prone. I mean, Mike White has been injured almost the entire time. So that's a little spooky. So I don't know, E-Boogie. I think Baker Mayfield's a good one to add to that. Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, Tannehill. If I had my choice of that group, me personally, I'm going with Minshew. He's the youngest. He's kind of the you don't like him?
No, I love him. I'm 100. I love Minshew. Like before Carr and Lamar and Aaron Rodgers were options, I was like, hey, man, we need to get Gardner Minshew in here next year. That was my go-to guy. And I'm being told like I'm just special. Like something's wrong with you, Gardner Minshew. And I'm like, have y'all seen what this kid did in Jacksonville when they had no talent? Like, I'm a big Gardner Minshew fan. I really am.
And people seem to it's like weird. And I could fall into this category too. He feels like he's been in the league for a long time. Dude, he's just finishing his rookie contract, man.
Yep.
Like this guy's fresh. He's out of the box. Like he's gone through a lot of his hurdles. And he's been on the Eagles now for a couple of years. He's learning that side. He was on the shitty Jaguars. Don't forget, when the Jaguars wanted to tank, once they got their hands on that number 1 overall pick from us, we had the number 1 pick all year. Week 15 or whatever it was, we win, and the Jaguars got a handle. You know what they did? They benched Gardner Minshew. You want to know why? Because he gave them the best chance to win. And they said, sit that asshole down. He's going to run around, and he's going to make plays, and he's going to win a damn game, and we don't want that shit. So that's what happened. Now, again, I think when you compare Minshew to maybe Derek Carr or even Lamar Jackson for that matter, I mean, obviously we're talking about different tiers. But we don't know. Gardner Minshew, he's at the early stages of his career. He's been bounced around a lot. He has shown that he can play in the NFL. He's significantly better than what we've trotted out onto the damn field. And I think Gardner Minshew with last year's team, if everything was the same, I think Gardner Minshew wins us another 2 games and we're in the playoffs. That's what I think.
100% on board with that.
Yeah.
100%.
So one last thing, I just want to show you guys one of the things, like when you think Elijah Moore, I see some comments like, hey, maybe, wait, hold on. Let me see. This thing doesn't, it's a new computer. I got to do some setting shit, but people are saying that, hold on. Yes, I will allow this. Oh my God. Everything's it's like I'm working with a brand new computer here. Leave site. No, I don't want to leave the site. just want to show this thing here. That's what I want to do. So when you think, Elijah Moore is kind of, hey, he had a bad week or two. I don't know. He's kind of, listen, there's some reason to believe that he's a little bit immature. And it all starts with this right here. If you guys don't remember this was his touchdown celebration. If I remember correctly, it was in a bowl game. So this is what he decided. This wasn't spur of the moment. This was something he thought about. I'm gonna this.
Yeah.
So he scored a touchdown in front of the country and decided this is the best move for me to do. I'm going to pretend I'm a dog pissing on the field. Just saying, not exactly the most mature thing. It's my belief that had part of the reason why he slid. He's a first-round talent. He slid. He slid.
100%.
Don't forget that. So another thing, I see some people comparing him to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson had more receptions in 1 year. I see that comment. Here it is. New York Superfan. Great comment. It's the truth. Garrett Wilson had more receptions in 1 season than Moore has had in 2. Well, you got to remember, Garrett Wilson's a 10th overall pick. Elijah Moore is a second rounder. And I think that's for a reason, right? They're definitely different. As talented as Elijah Moore is, then you got the LaFleur thing. They are different receivers. There's a different expectation there as well. But I will say, the production we've gotten from Moore is a travesty. The fact that we can't find this guy, and the games I watched, particularly early in the season, man, first 3 games, Elijah Moore was open all day long, and they didn't look. It was crazy, man. Remember? Look, we were together at the
Ravens game.
We're screaming, "He's open! He's open! He's open!" Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Painful.
I do.
Yeah, so there's AC saying he showed some. Yeah, that's probably the same game that we're referencing. So you got to remember, man, some of these guys, look, it's part of their DNA. We have to actually work them out of it. Now, Saleh, I think, is a good guy to do that. I think he's shown us that he's changing the culture here.
Yeah.
Overall, it's different culture. It's a different Jets vibe than it's been for a long time. That said, if you have a coordinator in here that everybody hates, it's going to be hard to overcome that, especially when their dinner's getting taken, bro. You know what I mean? Like Elijah Moore wants his contract to be good, and it ain't happening this way. So I do get it. I do get it. All right, let's get to some comments here. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Okay. LaFleur, hey, it's Snoopy. What's up, buddy? LaFleur is probably the one who destroyed Zach's confidence. Well, dude, he's in charge of Zach. Let's not forget, right? So the first year, it's an interesting thing, Gunny. I remember having this conversation particularly with Jeremy. We were watching a game or whatever, and we were talking about this, but I've had it with numerous people. But I remember the detailed conversation I had with Jeremy one time. We were talking about LaFleur looks like he's overwhelming Zach Wilson. Like he's giving him too much. Like find the tier that he's really comfortable with, work that, let him build that, as his foundation and add stuff from there. It seemed like they were throwing the book at him. Now, we learned at the beginning of this year that LaFleur confirmed that. We gave Zach the whole book, and LaFleur is rumored to have over 1,000 plays in his playbook. Yep. So they decided, all right, here's 1,000 plays. The book looks something like this. Here you go, Zach. Welcome to the NFL. By the way, our offensive line, they're going to take about 6-7 weeks to get their heads out of their ass. So you're going to be running around like a maniac, no protection, and figure it out. So I don't doubt that had something to do with his confidence taking a hit. Now, again, like Gunny said, I don't think that's enough to excuse the fact that he can't hit a screen. Like he can't hit guys 7 yards away from him. But that said, I don't doubt that it's part of it, man. I really don't. Matthias Simon, LaFleur was a disaster in calling the game. He knew the offense, but didn't know how to call the game in game. He looked into certain guys, not good, or locked into certain guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the problems. Did you feel the same way? Like in game, it didn't feel like Mike LaFleur was able to adjust all that well. Like, there are scenarios that present themselves in the game that maybe you weren't planning for. Maybe you didn't know were coming. And LaFleur didn't seem to be able to go, ooh, now that's there, scrap what I was going to do this. He didn't seem to do that. He just kind of stayed the course. Didn't matter that our right tackle went down. We're still going to run on that side. It's like he just seemed to do. Did you feel the same way?
100%. I think that there was no adjustments made throughout the game whatsoever. It didn't matter if we were up, we were down. There was no adjustments made. It's almost as if he didn't understand the concept of as the game adapts and the defense adjusts, you also need to adapt and adjust. Even his scripted plays coming out, we all know the first drive is scripted in
Right, totally.
every NFL game. Even during those scripted plays, he would not come off of it if it didn't matter if it was first down, third down. It didn't matter. He would not come off whatever the script was, and it never panned out. And I'm glad it was brought up earlier in regards to the Zach Wilson thing because it started making me wonder, okay, why are we surprised by this? This is an individual who did not want to utilize Mims because Mims didn't know how to run every route in his route tree, right? Rather than go ahead and catering his offense towards the talents and strengths of his team, he was trying to force feed, hey, you're going to go ahead and either figure it out or you're not going to play. And we should have known it was a red flag then, right? To where this coach is not willing to go ahead and utilize the talent he has to cater around his offense. But he was demanding, hey, listen, you're not good at this, but get good at it or you're not going to play. To me, that should have been a red flag, man. And it never registered until, of course, the end of the season when you're looking at like, man, there's a lot of red flags in regards to how people should have been utilized. And to see Elijah Moore just fall off of a cliff, like there was so many red flags provided to us that we just never picked up on because we all love the Shanahan system. We know how good it can be. We've seen how San Francisco put it together, but Michael LaFleur is not Shanahan. He's just not. He doesn't adapt the game to cater his offense. Yes, there's the playbook. There's 1,000-something plays. Okay, cool. Let's cater that to the talent on your roster. And I think that should have been something that we all kind of picked up on. So I'm happy that LaFleur is gone, only because I'm not saying like he's a bad OC or a bad coach. I do believe his intentions like were there. I think the OC position was just a little bit ahead of his time. I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's prepared to understand the concept of adjusting in games, adapting his offense to the players on the roster. Because you know what? You're not going to go to a team where you're going to say, hey, listen, I need you to draft, me this perfect offensive players that meet my offense, and I'm going to go ahead and make it work. It's not how the NFL works. You're going to have to go ahead and cater the particular skill players you got to your offense. And then you got to make it work. You're the OC. It's your job. And I feel like that was asking too much of him. And we saw that day in and day out. Like I said before, I would be watching Jets live streams, like whether it was you, Matt O'Leary, Jet Central, and everybody was like, oh, man, okay, I'm calling it now. This is going to be the next play. And my God, it was the next play. It was just ridiculous. Yeah. So, I think.
Oh, please continue.
My bad. Yeah, I think the OC position was just a little bit above his head. I don't think he was ready for it. Pass coordinator, running coordinator, I would have had no issues with that, bringing him in. But the everyday game plan component of it, as the OC being in charge of that, I just don't think he was there, man. I don't think he was ready for that.
And it's a bummer, but you're so right. Like, look, Jets fans, and it's unfortunate to me, right? Because Jets fans, took that. And we jumped on this idea that Denzel Mims all of a sudden sucks. Now, I have taken lump after lump after lump for Denzel Mims, right? I'm not buying it. Like, I watched every single play of his college career. I've read every friggin', write-up, everything you can see on that wide receiver class. I deconstructed like nobody's business. Laviska Shenault and CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson and Mims and everybody. And I loved Mims. And he came out his rookie year. He looked fantastic. He looked really good. Looked like this guy is going to bloom into something nice. LaFleur comes in and he's garbage.
He regresses.
Like, what? Right. It's like, and then he got the food poisoning, of course, and he got COVID. So there's a lot there. But again, why did Jets fans just decide, you know what, we're going to buy into what this brand new offensive coordinator says about him? And we're just going to think he sucks. Like, I didn't like that. I felt like it was bad. Now, Denzel Mims has shown on numerous occasions that he can be an asset. But again, very similar to what we're saying about Zach, we didn't make it easy. You brought up, like, why does he have to learn 3 positions? I've never even heard this before. Have you ever heard it? I never heard it.
No, I've never heard of that in my entire life.
Like Salah's like, well, he's the same guy. He's the backup to Corey Davis, so he's got to learn all 3 positions. Like, what? Since when? He's got a skill set, dude. He's got a skill set. He has rare measurables. Rare, dude. It's hard to find. And then he's a very willing and effective blocker on top of it. Like, dude, he does everything you want. And they stick him out there for 3 plays. He gets a penalty because he's overemphasizing the importance of this one chance. And it's like it's all falling apart. And Jets fans are like, this guy's a fucking bum. Get rid of. And I don't understand. And it's like, again, this could very much be one of the LaFleur things that we're getting rid of. Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yep. 100%. And that also means for me, like when we look at this wide receiver room where we all think everybody has taken a step back and dropped in terms of value, like I was a huge fan of the Denzel Mims signing. I couldn't believe he fell to us in the second round.
Yeah.
This kid, you can't teach speed, size, his length, his hand size. You can't teach that stuff. It's impossible. You either got it or you don't. He's got it in droves. I was so pumped when this kid came out of Baylor. And season 1, he showed us like, this kid's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And he fell off of a cliff, you know. And again, the common component here, we saw it happen also with Moore, who a lot of us thought was wide receiver 1 after last year, fell off of a cliff. It became apparent that, okay, Mike LaFleur either is holding grudges or he doesn't understand the concept and he's not understanding to utilize the strengths of his players. Like, why is Elijah Moore being put outside? Like, I never understood why was Elijah Moore being put outside? And that's when I started to realize, like, okay, I think we should just go ahead and kind of take a step back and hope for the best. But Mike LaFleur might still be in the process of trying to figure out what this entails being an offensive coordinator.
Sorry, hold on. I got this new computer. All of a sudden, my phone is ringing on my computer. I don't do that. I never had that set up, Gunny. Fuck is that?
I mean, I do. I actually even had my wife call me twice, but it's muted, so it doesn't ring and interrupt. But yeah, it's that iPhone to MacBook. Whoever's calling you is definitely on an iPhone. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's how that goes. Well, I got to change some settings, man. Everything's bright.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is literally I've had this computer, the new hard drive, the new battery, the new logic board for 2 hours. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
I love
sorry about that, guys, and I'm sorry for cutting you off there. But it really is. It's interesting. Again, if we take a step back and you look at the all the issues as a whole. You know, like, again, there's lots of things I like, and then I add to it. I hate fucking starting over again. It's like you look at Todd Bowles down there. Like, there are these cycles, right? There are cycles that you want to stay away from. Like Todd Bowles, he gets gifted. I mean, literally gifted a Super Bowl team and staff. Okay, team. Bruce Arians even sat on the pedestal, the podium, and said, I'm giving Todd Bowles this team because I don't want him to have to go down to a terrible team and start from scratch with a bad team. That's what he said. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but something to that effect. So what does Todd Bowles come into? He first of all, he looks like shit. He makes Tom Brady and everybody look bad, like the team's weak and old and everything like that. But then what does he do, Gunny? He fires the offensive coordinator, not Casey Rogers again. Now, again, Casey Rogers was clean all the way through his Jets tenure because he's his best friend. Todd Bowles had 3 offensive coordinators in his 4 years as our coach. He's there for 2 years, and he's going to have 2. That's 5 offensive coordinators in 6 years, dude. Maybe it's not the offensive coordinator, buddy. And that's the whole thing. It's like when I relate that to us, I'm like, we've had 9 offensive coordinators in 11 years. Now, to be fair, 3 of those were Todd Bowles. So there's that. But again, it's one of those cycles I just don't want to see us embrace. You know what I mean? I just really don't. So that's part of my reluctance as well. But again, when you just pull back from all that shit and you look, the Denzel Mims, the Elijah Moore, just and on the Zach Wilson, just all the stuff, the inability to score touchdowns, and it does fall to the offensive coordinator. Now, maybe the idea was to have Knapp here, and if Knapp was working with the players, and all the floor's job was to design and install and call that damn offense, maybe that plan would have worked. Maybe it would have worked. They built it in such a way that it was young LaFleur, vet Knapp, young Calabrese, vet Benton. So they did have it kind of balanced out nicely, and it didn't work. Start over. Now it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. But before we get into that, I want to talk Greg Roman so bad I can taste it. Green Beans Burner checking in. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, according to an article, Mike LaFleur told Zach Wilson 2 reads and run. It could explain the running wild thing. Now, I didn't see that article. Did you see that article, Gunny? I didn't hear about this.
I have not. No, I have not seen this part. But I'm assuming the one that came out with the Athletic.
I read that. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that though. That's what I'm saying. I didn't see that in the in the Athletic article. So if Green Beans Burner could clarify. But if the OC is telling the quarterback, "Hey, 2 reads then go," that's kind of a problem, right? Like, we're not going to go ahead and go through our 3rd or 4th progressions. I mean, usually your check down is not your second read either. So, like, what are we doing here if that's the case?
You're running before half the guys even develop their routes in some instances.
I really hope that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, but look, I mean, it kind of looks like it. It kind of like one of the gripes that we had with Zach Wilson was he's zeroing in on one side of the field. I mean, even when Dom C, who's fantastic, by the way, if you guys haven't like dug into Dom C's stuff yet, we're going to be bringing him on a lot more. Dom C and I are actually going down to the Senior Bowl next week, guys. We're going to do lots of fun stuff from there. We got ourselves some press passes, everybody. So we're going to do that whole thing. But Dom C and I were breaking down some of the LaFleur offense and Zach Wilson, and there were times where literally, like, he drops back, he looks at the left side, 2 guys over here are wide open, 5 yards in between them, and he never looks
that way. Never.
So if that is a direct, now I've been asked that numerous times throughout the season. I always said I struggle to believe that the offensive coordinator is designing plays with 3 and 4 routes and telling the quarterback not to look at them. It doesn't compute to me. Green Beans Burner. Like maybe at some point, like, look, kid, you can't process the whole thing. Just fucking find a guy. If you can't find a guy in the first, then bail. Maybe it got to that point, but I struggle to believe that was the design. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's why is he drawing up plays with 4 and 5 different routes then? I mean, yes, you can say, decoys and all that. Yeah. But I don't know, man. You got Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, then you got the tight ends, you got Corey Davis. There are guys open all day, and he's told not to even consider them. I don't know, man. I struggle with that, Burner. I do.
I will say this to Burner's, like, defense. Kurt Warner actually analyzed. I watched 3 of the analysts that he did of the Jets offense. And all 3 of them, he stated that there were concepts that made no sense in terms of like creating separation and depth for the quarterback to actually be able to functionally see them from the pocket. And he pointed them out in 3 different games. He broke down like, I'm not sure what's going on here or here. After the first one, he thought it was on the wide receivers. He thought, this must be on the wide receivers, not go ahead and creating enough depth and understanding the concept of the route. By number 2, he said it's kind of odd. We're kind of seeing this constantly. And every single time where Zach Wilson is looking at is where there's nothing available and he's looking to run. But 3rd and 4th options always seem to just do some route where they didn't create enough separation for it to actually matter. Now, the good thing is by the 3rd time he analyzed it, he stated like, well, the Jets have some talented weapons because they're finding ways to still get open, which is what we've seen as Jets fans watching the All-22. Like, man, this guy got open. Like you said, though, Zach never looks that way. I just thought that's just how Zach Wilson's processing work. Totally. He thought, okay, boom, first read, second read, not there, I'm booking. But if this is something he's being told to do by the OC, that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem.
It is. It is a big problem. Now, let's hope. I mean, again, look, let's hope it is true. Let's hope that it was all LaFleur and that Zach's just an explosion waiting to happen. That would be delicious. That would be wonderful. Now, guys, before we get into, we have a guest coming on tonight, as I'm sure you know by now. Mr. Jake Aspin's going to grace us with his amazing presence and tell us his opinion on all such things. I can't wait to hear his take on the Elijah Moore thing as well. Before we do, I want to remind you about our sponsor, everybody. As you know by now, for the past few months and for the foreseeable future, we have a sponsor. Let me change the background here. It's always weird. Hold on. Let me change it to this background. That little better. Which one's better? This one will be better. Nope, that one sucks. Where's a good background for it? Let's do. You know what I'll do? This one. This is a good one. So, all right, Manscaped, as you know, is the absolute best in below the waist men's grooming. Tonight, I did not get a claimant for this amazing prize. I'm going to tell you guys, tonight, we're giving this thing away. One of you guys is getting it. We're giving it to someone in the chat. That's how it's going to go. No more of this baloney. I tried to give it to random subscribers. We're giving it to one of you guys that are here at the end of the stream or toward the end of the stream. We're going to give you the amazing Weed Whacker Manscaped's nose and ear hair trimmer. The truth is, I use this almost daily. I don't have to do it every day, but when I do, it's this thing right here. Now, again, I was told not to tell you guys something, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I was told not to tell you that this won't cause pulls in your nose. I was told not to tell you that, but I got to tell you my truth. My truth is I've been using it for 4, 5, 6 months now and not one. So what does that tell you? I usually, every nose hair trimmer I've ever had gave me a pull at least once, like oink, in my eyes, tear, and the whole thing. This one so far has not given me one ear or nose hair pull. It's fantastic. Guys, these are the tools for your family jewels. Somebody's going to win this thing tonight. And if you'd like to save 20% on all your Manscaped goodies, all you need to do is go to their website, peruse, pick whatever you'd like to buy. If there's 10% off here, 20% off there, when you get to checkout, whatever's already been taken off, you type in the promo code GreenBean, and they're going to tack on an additional 20% for you to enjoy. And as always, Manscaped will give you free international shipping. I can't imagine a better deal, dude. It's actually good stuff. It's actually good shit, and you're going to like it. I'm telling you, everybody that I know that has it loves this stuff. The Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker. We got the cologne. Gunny, you have any Manscaped stuff?
Oh, I've got the entire kit. I get my blades replaced every 3 months. The wife loves it. She never complains. Makes it easier to go ahead and have some fun times when the wife's not complaining. So I'm just putting it out there. Manscaped is legit. That's the real deal. And he's right. It does not pull. I have the nose clippers too. They do not pull whatsoever.
See, now look, we can't say it never will, but it hasn't yet.
Hasn't happened to me. Yeah.
There you go.
Good point. Hasn't happened to me.
I know it's funny. They actually put that in writing. Don't say, I'm like, I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying it hasn't. Now, Gunny, it hasn't happened to Gunny either. So there you go.
Facts.
I don't think it's happened to Jeremy either. Jeremy was saying it too. Wat2K maybe a little bit. I don't know. Maybe Wat2K had some pulls. But everybody else but Wat2K is having a delightful experience. Guys, Manscaped, the link to the website is in my description of this very video, as well as the promo code. Save yourself 20% by using the promo code GreenBean. And that, as they say, is that. And I thank Manscaped for being the sponsor of the Thursday Think of It. You know, I'm going to leave their little code up there for a little while. So I want to get to a few things here. Jake will be here any moment, I'm sure. Let's see here. There's Jason Edwards, our buddy, checking in. What's up, Jason? Good to see you. Mike LaFleur's 1st and 15s were rough. Isn't it funny how many times we had to deal with that?
Unbelievable. Constantly.
Underutilized 8 and 11. What do you make of the consistent? A lot of those were like, well, you had the false starts, but then you even had like illegal shifts and stuff like that. What do you make of that? That's so consistently had to start it with 1 and 15 in the hole, as we say, Gunny.
The offense was so undisciplined at times. It was just unbearable, unwatchable. It was frustrating because it would also happen in the most intricate of times, where we needed to move forward. False starts were happening. Illegal shifts were happening. And to me, we all know Coach Salah has put the offense on the shoulders of Coach LaFleur. So if it was happening, it's because the offense wasn't ready. Now, again, granted, we have our issues with Salah, with freaking holding on to timeouts, you know what I'm saying, and a couple of false starts that kind of cost us a couple of games. But it was consistently an issue on the offense from the start of the season to the end of the season. I don't get it, man. Again, it's crazy how blind we are as Jets fans. Because while we were winning, I didn't care. I was just like, oh, it is what it is. We won. Zach didn't throw an interception that game. Woo! We're crushing it. Like, I was literally making excuses for the little things that should have given us a heads up. Like, hey, towards the back end, when games start to get closer and tighter and real, this could become a problem. I ignored it. Why? I'm a Jets fanatic first, right? Before I am this guy who's going to look, analyze the game and be able to give you my opinion.
Yeah, right.
But
you want to root.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern there, Jason. You're 100% right. And again, we've seen this just adding up throughout the season. It just didn't register to us until we were out of the playoffs. I think that's when we all kind of sat back and said, well, damn. Yeah, you know what? LaFleur kind of fucking sucked because he did this. He did this. He kind of fucking sucked because I could figure out what he was going to do. And then we started to realize, yeah, we might have not had the right OC at the job at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason, good point.
Yeah, and he underutilized those dudes, and that's the way. Look, again, we're settling, but the smoke is settling, and we're starting to see things for what they are. Yeah. And I think we're all kind of on the same page, at least for the most part. So, guys, we are at that time, this very special time where we're going to bring on our guest with the best. I wanted to go host with the most, but guest with the best. Let's say hello to our good friend Jake Assman. What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy?
GB, congrats on 10,000 subscribers. How are you doing?
Good, man. It took me long enough, dude. It was crazy.
It's hard.
Well, Jake, with all seriousness, I got like 3,000 subs in a 2-month period. And then the last 100, it took me a month and a half. It's like the craziest thing. I don't know what I like slammed into a brick wall. So thank you. I'm happy. We did it tonight during this show. So I'm incredibly grateful, man. And thank you for carving out some time to hang out with us. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on a few of the bubbling news articles of today. Are you ready to do some of that with us today?
I can't wait. I'm excited, man. The Thursday thick of it. I got a Grubhub order that's supposed to be here with some tacos in about 10 minutes. I mean, I'm ready. I'm locked in, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good for you. I haven't used Grubhub yet. I haven't done it. I don't know what it is. Is it you could order from anywhere? Isn't that right?
Pretty much. I mean, most restaurants, I guess it depends on the city you're in. I mean, here in Houston, Grubhub seems to be the go-to over maybe like an Uber Eats. It seems like they have more restaurants. So, the real truth of the matter is I was supposed to get Chipotle as I do after my show every night, but the road to Chipotle is closed. There's like a major accident. So I'm like, I'm not sitting in traffic to go get Chipotle. I'm just going to go home, hop on with GreenBean and Gumby. We're going to talk Jets, and I'll just put a Grubhub order in and deal with it then.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, I wanted to take a second too. Number one, I want to say hello to Boy Green. What's up, Boy Green? Look at that guy hanging out in the chat.
Oh, man. What's up, Paul?
It's always good to see Paul Boy Green Esden hanging around. He's all psyched up. Whatever he's doing, he's psyched about it. I love myself some Paul. But I also wanted to take a second. I don't know, Jake, if you've had the moment to meet the new co-host of the Thursday Thick of It, Gunny Gumby up there. New York Jets situation report. Interestingly enough, he's also in Houston.
That's
so
right.
I wanted to introduce you guys if you didn't already know each other.
I think we met, right? That you've obviously been to the Jet fan bar.
Well, I have been to the fan bar, but when I went to go ahead to watch the game, I forget which game it was. You were so surrounded by individuals, Jake. That's how you know you're a celebrity. I couldn't get to you, man. I couldn't get to you. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, man, that's crazy because like that's Jake Assman. He's one of the guys that I watch on YouTube. And she's like, well, go over there. And I'm like, I'm gonna leave that man alone. Like everybody's crowding him. He's trying to watch the game. And I just took it like if it was me trying to watch the game, I know how I would feel about it. So I took that into consideration. But then I've gone a few more times and I haven't seen you. But yeah, we both live in the H, man. You said you're getting tacos today from the best place, one of the best places in Houston. Where are you getting tacos from?
Oh, my place, Velvet Taco, right down the road from where I'm at.
Ooh, Velvet Taco. Okay, my wife's a big fan of Velvet Taco. Okay.
But by the way, you definitely should have came up to me, man. I would love to have said hello to you, man. Hopefully the next time I see you won't be all the way. We got to wait till a regular season game. But I got you. Jet fans are the best, and I tell people all the time there are a ridiculous amount of Jet fans that live in Houston. There's a ton of just New Yorkers in general. So the Jet fan bar when the team was rolling, I mean, we had like 150 people that would show up on a Sunday.
It was packed.
Yeah,
packed.
Yeah, I love Jets fan bars, man. I don't know if you know this or not, but Wat2K, our very own Wat2K, is the president of the Virginia Jets fan club, Jake. So we got a little bit of that going on up here too, man.
I salute the president. You gotta, respect.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, look, man, thank you everybody for talking about the 10K. I want to thank my buddy Dom C. Jake, I don't know if you know this. I want to tell you, both Dom C and myself, through some wackadoodle happenstance, both of us were given press credentials through GreenBean Sports, GreenBean Jetsfan. They gave us both press credentials for the Senior Bowl, my friend.
Wow.
So we're super, isn't that cool? Isn't this a cool thing?
Is that your first time ever being credentialed for something?
It is. Well, for anything sports related.
Yeah.
I've been credentialed showbiz and stuff like that. But yeah, totally my first time.
Yeah,
man.
you were at like the porn awards last week in Vegas.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty
VCN.
badass.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. That's awesome. I need to have both you guys on the show that week. That live from the Senior Bowl. That's awesome. That's so cool that you guys are credentialed. I know the Senior Bowl is usually pretty good about letting like new media like go, which is all. But like that would be perfect, man. So I'm very excited. If only it was last year when the Jets coaching staff was doing the game.
I know. I didn't even think about it. Like I have, look, dude, the truth is I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I just, maybe I could have gotten it last. I didn't even think about it. I just never in a million years. So this year, Dom C took a swing. He said, hey, can I use GreenBean? Because he writes for my website. I said, yeah, man, give it a try. And they said yes. And I'm like, wait. Can I come? Can I? You got in?
I love it.
Can I come too? So yeah, man, have us on. We'll tell you what's going on down there. You're right, though. I wish it was last year, but it's still going to be awesome.
Let me tell you the best part of Senior Bowl week from what I've heard from. I've covered the draft before. I've done the combine ones. I've never done Senior Bowl. But from what I've been told, the Senior Bowl is great because you got all the coaches that are there and they're kind of more laid back because it's the beginning of the off season, and like the going out and drinking with like just NFL people is wild. So like if you see Bob Saleh there, try and get a beer with him.
There you go. Ooh. There you go. I mean, I don't drink, but I could definitely hang out at a bar. I snore a little cocaine. Is that cool to do that with me?
Yeah, you do it. Definitely do it on YouTube. That ought to really get the viewership up.
That'll really bump up your status on YouTube. You
look at this. GreenBean at 12 years sober decided screw it and did cocaine with Bob Saleh. Why not? All for the views. I don't drink out, but I drink far too many of these. That's the problem. I still have issues, man. That's the whole thing. I'll never let go of everything. That's just I'm like that. I'm that kind of guy. So Jake, there was look, we'll get to the Elijah Moore. We'll save the Elijah Moore stuff a minute. We were just about to transition to the potential of some of the offensive coordinators. Now, a name just popped up today out of nowhere, and I'm going to admit that 2 years ago when we were, about to start our head coaching search, I was hoping that this guy, the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator, would have been interviewed. Now, some people don't like Greg Roman, but me, I'm a big Greg Roman fan. I like guys that have done it in more than one place, more than 1 year, and with more than one style of quarterback. Like that's big to me when it doesn't seem like they have a specific type of player that they have to spend 2 years getting before they can be successful. Greg Roman has shifted gears numerous times, whether it be in the, for the Niners, for the Bills, for the Ravens. Like whoever's there, he can seem to devise an offense and be pretty successful. So I wanted to get your take, and I'll also ask you as well, Gunny. But Greg Roman, now that he's free, is that a guy that you hope the Jets pursue? And why or why not?
Yeah, I'm in on interviewing him. I don't know if I would hire. I got to hear like what does he want to do with his scheme? Like the big knock on Greg Roman from people in Baltimore is that he doesn't value wide receivers and he's just too stubborn to try to adapt. And the Ravens have had issues getting receivers to come play there because of the offense. That's why like Hollywood Brown requested a trade and why he left. But I like experienced play callers. This is a team that needs someone that has done it before. Like if they want to interview Greg Roman and they think he could adapt, or maybe it's Greg Roman coming in with another like experienced assistant, or maybe Greg Roman this year is the senior level assistant with a younger guy. Like I like that idea. Like the Jets should talk to as many people as possible, because Saleh said even after they hire an offensive coordinator, he still wants to hire a senior level assistant. So sign me up for that if they can make that happen.
Yeah, a senior level assistant. Yeah, that leads me to think that they're like with this wide net thing that they're talking about. Maybe they really are considering one of these new hotshot guys, even though I think that's ill-advised. If they do bring in a senior assistant, a la the original plan with Mike LaFleur, Calabrese, Greg Knapp, and John Benton, maybe that's just the dynamic that he really wants. And maybe he is. I mean, do you think Greg Roman would buy into something like that? Kind of like if a Nick Cali or some atrocity like that was hired and they decided to put Greg Roman like above him. You think they could do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his other options are, right? I mean, he's an older coach. A lot of teams need OCs, but how many teams are dying to bring in Greg Roman? I don't know the answer to that. Like, how do teams feel about his style in today's game? It's a passing league, and this guy loves to run the football and design offenses that way. So that would be my question. I'm no issue talking to the guy. They should talk to as many people as possible. It's free to talk to people, but I'd be surprised if they ended up hiring him.
Well, and on that note, Gunny, before I get your take on Greg Roman, I want to point out, just like Jake said, this was also put out there by RG3. I think it's very astute. I mean, this is pretty clear. RG3, who has worked under Greg Roman, as you know, he was the backup quarterback for the Ravens not too long ago, says Greg Roman may be the greatest run game tacticians I have ever been around at the NFL level. Running backs and tight ends love his system because they eat. Wide receivers hate it. That's why free agent wide receivers didn't want to go or stay in Baltimore. It was never about Lamar Jackson. What an interesting take, right? Like, where was this news before? Now it's like all of a sudden everybody's kind of, I guess with him being let go, they're free to talk about a little bit more maybe, but that's interesting. But, look, would I have an issue with, like Garrett Wilson being the primary receiver and then just an overutilization of Breece Hall and Conklin and Ruckert? And I don't know if I'd have too much of an issue with it. I think I'd be pretty happy as long as we got in the damn end zone, quite frankly. I mean, that's where we are. I just want to score a damn touchdown. So, Gunny, quickly, what do you think about Greg Roman? Is a guy you want to, you want to pursue or no?
I have my dream list of who I would love to have as our OC, but Greg Roman is definitely somebody I definitely think is like Jake was saying, get into the building, do an interview with him. But my biggest concern is the same thing, right? I'm worried that in that capacity, we're going to lose the benefit of an Elijah Moore, the benefit of a Denzel Mims, benefit of a Garrett Wilson. But again, can I really sit here and be mad running an offense through Breece Hall in that tight end room? I really can't sit here and tell you, like, I'm going to be upset if we're winning games because we're running the ball and our tight ends are getting utilized. Like, I want to win games. Like, I literally just want to win games. At the end of the day, I am a Jets fan. And as much as I love Garrett Wilson, love Elijah Moore, love Denzel Mims, I'm a Jets fan first. And if it means Jets are winning games, I'm all on board about it. But I am a little bit hesitant because in 2023 and in the last 2 years, we've seen it's a passing league. Greg Roman doesn't seem to have that bit of repertoire when it comes to how he operates. But again, I would love to have him in the building, have a conversation. Now, ideally, maybe he's the running game coordinator for the New York Jets, right? If that becomes an option down the road, right? We've seen the Mike Shanahan system utilize passing coordinators and a running game coordinator. Maybe he can become that guy for us in this game. But don't get it twisted. You've seen what he can do with the running game, and it's impressive. It's very impressive. But again, it is 2023. Are we talking about making the playoffs, or are we trying to win a Super Bowl? And in this league, you got to throw the ball if you want to go ahead and be competitive.
You don't want to do the Rex Ryan ground and pound? You want to hear that again?
Hey, look, I loved it. In the Rex Ryan era. Hey, defense, ground and pound. It worked. Nowadays, how many teams right now are in the playoffs that are in that ground and pound mentality? Like, the Jets had a better defense other than the 49ers than any other team right now in the playoffs. Right. So the difference is those guys pass the ball. I think that's too important nowadays in today's game.
The pain.
For us to bypass.
The pain. Now, Jake, quick, is that did the tacos arrive? Is that what just happened?
The tacos are here, GreenBean. We're ready.
Yeah. I know Wat2K said, we do need a review on these tacos. So
I don't want to disgust your audience by like eating tacos on the air. Though. I mean, if you want me to, I'm happy to do it. But
You're free to eat, but I'm going to make sure I ask you questions right as you take a bite. That's key. We're going to go for maximum potential for damage.
That's how
call
you're
it.
celebrating 10,000 subscribers.
Exactly. So no, Jake, all right. So Roman, maybe you wouldn't be terribly disappointed, but not the guy you're hoping they go for. Who is the guy that you're hoping they go for? Who stands out front for you?
There was a name that Rich Samini wrote about today that I had not heard. And Jet fans, stay with me because you're going to hear the name and be like, what? Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur is a successful veteran offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach twice, so he's got great leadership skills. I think Robert Saleh needs to hire someone that, one, has experience, two, that he doesn't need to babysit. Pat Shurmur has been a head coach 2 separate times. People remember him, obviously, with the Giants, and he was bad.
Yeah.
Go look at Daniel Jones's numbers, though. When Daniel Jones was a rookie, he was good. The problem with Daniel Jones was not his rookie year. People be like, oh, well, if Daniel Jones can turn it around, why can't Zach Wilson? Daniel Jones had a good rookie season. It was when Joe Judge and Jason Garrett got there that things went awry for Daniel Jones. Pat Shurmur went to an NFC championship game with Case Keenum as his as his quarterback. So
yeah,
I want someone with experience. Samini wrote that he's a candidate. I'd be interested in at least speaking with him. Greg Olson, obviously the Rams senior assistant who's got the relationship with Derek Carr, is someone that I like. And then Joe Brady, who's the Bills quarterback coach. Maybe a little young. He's been an OC before with Darnold down in Carolina under Matt Rule, but you pair up Joe Brady with like a senior level assistant. That intrigues me as well. I think what I've learned, though, is no matter who any of us say, most of the fan base is not going to like it or be very lukewarm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no perfect answer. Like you throw out a quarterback name, Derek Carr. Oh, what are you doing? All right, what's your plan? Well, I want Aaron Rodgers. Okay, well, if you can't get him, then what? Oh, I want Ryan Tannehill. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, it just, you can't win with some Jet fans. So they have to basically make the best of what's not an ideal situation. This is what happens, though, when you miss on the second pick in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely a little bit of what we call a setback, missing on your second overall pick and quarterback. Yeah. But so, you're so right. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. I think the only player in recent memory that I feel like 100% of Jets fans are delighted with is Garrett Wilson. I mean, I can't think of another one. Even Quinnen Williams, I'm stumbling this past week on all these Jets fans that don't want to re-sign him, Jake.
What about Sauce? Sauce feels unanimous with Garrett.
Sauce unanimous. That's a good one, too. Yeah. That's a good one, too. So maybe Sauce and Garrett. Even Breece Hall, I get people saying, what did he really do? And blah, blah, and all that kind of stuff. But like Quinnen Williams, are you not on board with giving this kid his payday, Jake?
No, I want to pay him. I don't want this to drag on either. I know it's like, as long as they get it done, who cares? But like, I want to set the tone early to the rest of the locker room that you ball like Quinnen Williams and shut the F up and don't pull a Jamal Adams. You should be paid. Go. Like Quinnen Williams was not a distraction. He balled out. He's a likable dude. He's gotten better every year he's been in the league. Like, he's a legitimate superstar that's 25 years old. It's not like he's like hit his peak. Like, there's still another level for him to get to. You got to pay him. They shouldn't mess around with it either. I know you don't just give him a blank check. That's not how franchises run their team. But if I'm the Jets, I'd pay him first because there's all these other defensive tackles that want new deals. So you want to make sure you pay him before like the next couple of deals happen, and then you owe him even more money.
Yeah. Well, I think you nailed it, right? And Gunny seemed to like it too. He's having 100%. A physical reaction.
I am 100%
to your comments. So what it's like, right, man? It's not only about the players specifically. It sets a tone. It sends a message to the whole team. You act like that, you're gone. You act like this, and not only are you here, but you are taken care of. The organization is behind you. Now, I know we're tight. I saw something yesterday that said, not only are we tight, we're actually over the cap by $2 or $3 million. Now, they'll handle that. I know, Jake, if I remember correctly, you're one who doesn't believe in the salary cap.
It's fake. Then it's like the Subway $5 footlong. It's a figment of your imagination. It's a woozy. It's a wazi.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then Joe Douglas has to prove now that he can do that sort of thing. We haven't seen Joe Douglas actually have to balance the budget. He's had 40 to 80, $90 million each year, bunch of draft picks. He's able to cut a bunch of guys. He's cutting dead weight. This is the first year that he's really going to be tasked with some difficult decisions. And Quinnen Winnin, I like that. Quinnen Williams is way out. Yeah, he's way out front of this. Now, look, it is a year before, He technically has to be renegotiated or re-signed, let me say. And I think that's where the potential problem could come in. It's like, listen, kid, you're under contract. We'll talk to you in the middle of next season. I think that could be a bad move for what you're talking about. It sets the tone. And if he gets upset, like if he takes it personally and the whole thing, that's going to reverberate through the organization. Now, going from Quinn and Williams, and we'll get back to Pat Shermer. I think that's a fascinating name. But just while we're on this, and Jake, and then I'll bounce it to you, Gunny, same question. The next free agent that's on your list. Look, we got guys like Huff, like Fant, like Quan Alexander, and a whole bunch of other guys. Who's number one, maybe behind Quinn and Williams, that you think the Jets have to bring back this year?
Honestly, maybe his brother, Quincy Williams. He's a young player. He's still ascending as well. He's gotten better every year he's been in the league. And if you get Quinnen back, you keep Quincy, then you keep the locker room pretty happy if you get both those guys back. I want Quan back as well. I don't know how realistic it is to keep both Quincy and Quan, though. I mean, maybe you do a restructure of CJ Mosley's deal and you can free up more money. You brought up the cap. Michael Nadia over at Jets X Factor put together like what the Jets could do with some cuts and restructures. If they cut Carl Lawson, that's $15.4 million saved. If they waive Dwayne Brown after June 1st, they'll save almost $10 million. Jordan Whitehead, if they cut him, $7.3 million is saved. Braxton Berrios, see ya, $5 million. Bryce Hall, $2.7 million. Braden Mann, why is he still not why hasn't he even been cut yet? Almost $3 million. So there's ways for them to very easily create space. So I'm not overly concerned about that. Quinnen's one, as you brought up. I'm trying to think of their free agents. Honestly, Bryce Huff has probably got to be right there too, right? Like, yeah, Bryce Huff needs to play more next year. He was awesome. So I probably would move Bryce Huff even ahead of Quincy Williams.
Yeah, Huff's a big one. So what do you think? We're going to let Jake take a bite or two of these tacos. Gunny, what do you think? So if I don't know if Quinnen's on the top of your list, but who's top, the number one guy, if it's not Quinnen, and if it is Quinnen, who do you have next on your list?
I'll be the first to say this. Quinnen Williams is a must sign. And the reason being is we saw him not play one game, and that defense looked completely lost without Quinnen Williams. One game, we went from being like, oh, man, we're going to get to the quarterback to quarterback had all day to play back there. He's an intricate piece. He's an MVP. Quinnen Williams needs to be signed. Like Jake said, it sets the tone for the Sauce Gardners, for the DJ Reeds, for the Bryce Huffs, for the Jermaine Johnsons. Like, it sets the tone. Hey, man, grind, do your thing, get better. We're going to take care of you. And he's homegrown. I would love to have a homegrown talent taken care of. That makes sense on this team. So Quinnen Williams is number one. But y'all said a bunch of the ones that I think are important. Bryce Huff, Quan, or Quincy, if we can't do both. I also believe Greg the Leg Zuerlein needs to be signed yesterday. Look, we're not doing the crap we did last year with the kicking room. We just can't do it. We just can't.
It was nice to have a kicker this year. That was
it was really nice, wasn't it?
Positive, yeah. It was awesome.
It was a benefit. I'm sorry, Greg the Leg needs to be put. People are saying 1 year. Give that man 2 years, okay? He's still got the leg strength. He's got the accuracy. He was a better component of our special teams this year. Hell, he put up the points that we got in the last freaking 2 months of the season. Yeah, like the dude is ever. We cannot let Greg walk. I refuse. We can't do this again. We cannot let Greg walk. He needs to be signed immediately.
Well, and think about it. He's the first kicker since Joe Douglas has been here that's actually worth a shit. I mean, we had who was the other? Amendola was okay for a few minutes.
Right. Yeah.
But we've had like 6 kickers since Joe Douglas has been here. This is the first guy that really looks like like you said, like he's a keeper and 60-yarders. It was interesting. Like if it's a 55-yarder and Greg the Leg's trotting out, we didn't feel like, this isn't hell.
Like, you actually
thought, hey, he's going to make this. You feel good about it.
Let me tell you, I was at the Bears game in the monsoon at MetLife. The kick he had before the half was like maybe the most impressive like athletic feat I've ever seen live. Like it was monsooning, and he drilled that thing that would have been good from like 70. Like that was insane that he did that on that day.
Yeah, I think that was a 57-yarder too, man. That was sick. And that's the thing, man. We don't look. I was actually in favor of Pinheiro. Younger, 100% and all that sort of stuff. And I think he would have been fine. But you're so right. Greg the Leg, he proved it. He stayed healthy all year, which is another rarity around here. Kicked our first ever 60-yarder, like Jake said. He's nailing 57s in torrential rain. I think that's a good one. And I think, man, give him 2 years. Why not? Give him 2 years. Keep him around for a minute. And let's see him actually kind of feel like he's part of the Jets. Like you're here. You're not just a gun for hire for a minute. You know what I mean? I think that could go a long way as well. I'm sure everybody likes him. Who doesn't like a field goal kicker that when they run out there, they make the field goal? Who doesn't like that guy? You know what I mean?
Nobody doesn't like that guy.
A lot of Greg Zerline jerseys coming to MetLife this year.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to see. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm big on the Bryce Huff. You know what? I'm back and forth on Quincy. I like Quincy Williams a whole bunch. It all depends on if he really thinks he's going to get like starter money, like, big time starter money. I think that would be an issue. What about this? I know I saw this somewhere. I don't know if it was confirmed, but Quinnen Williams said that if Quincy Williams is re-signed, he would take less. Is that real, Jake? Have you heard?
I have not seen that anywhere, so I don't want to say it's not true because I sometimes do miss things, but I have not personally seen that.
Yeah, well, then it's not true. I'll tell you right now. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody put some blue check next to it or something. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. And
you can pay for those things now.
You can pay
out there.
$8 a month.
Yeah,
get a blue check.
$8 and I get a blue check. Yeah. And it's going to be difficult to prove I'm really GreenBean. Oh, yeah, that's him. GreenBean. That's my real name. That's me. I'm official. So, look, getting back to Shurmur, and it's interesting. I got so much I want to talk to you guys about, particularly with the OCs. We want to get to Elijah Moore, and I want to talk more about our prospective free agents. The guys on our own team. We have 27 free agents on the list. And look, we're going to have some tough decisions to make. But Douglas McClure checked in on that Pat Shurmur thing, Jake. He says, I watched Drew Lock regress under Shurmur, and the Broncos fall to the bottom half in all offensive statistical categories. Now, to be fair, just to be honest, I should say, I didn't remember where the hell he went after the Giants. While you were talking, I actually said, where the hell did he go? He was with the Broncos 2020 and 2021, which I completely escaped my mind, and they didn't look too good. But do we attribute that to Shurmur? Do you think that's something that we can lay on him, or, the Drew Lock regression? I don't know how much Drew Lock really had.
Yeah, what if Drew Lock just is bad? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like that'd be my big thing. Like, oh, the Jets failed Darnold, and yeah, they didn't do enough to help Sam Darnold. But it turns out Sam Darnold also is not very good. So like, it's one of those things where like sometimes you just pick the wrong guy. Like Drew Lock is not very good, and like Pat Shurmur has proven to be a pretty good play caller when you consider Daniel Jones up until Brian Dable got there this year had his best year under Shurmur as a rookie. And then you go back to what Pat Shurmur did, where he was the assistant coach of the year in the NFL. And I guess it was the 2018 season where Case Keenum and the Vikings, that team went to the NFC title game. And he had a career year. Case Keenum's done nothing since then. So I really think Pat Shurmur, if you're going to talk about like experienced play callers, he should be someone they consider. And Cimini wrote about him today. So obviously some agent said to Rich Cimini, hey, what about Pat Shurmur? Talk my guy up. And that was why it was in that story. It's my theory on how that happened. Hopefully the Jets speak with him, though. There's no harm in talking to someone that has a ton of experience.
Yeah, well, and look, and on the experience thing, now I'm this is like my mantle. Like I am convinced that it's a bad idea to go out and get a guy who's never called plays before, whether that's the guy, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback coach or Nick Caley or any of these guys that it would be their first time. Now, look, you brought up maybe bringing in a senior assistant. Okay, if that happened, a legitimate senior assistant, somebody to kind of, take away a lot of the other stuff, maybe it can work. But I feel pretty strongly that getting rid of LaFleur and bringing in a guy that's starting fresh, especially if we get a vet quarterback a la Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, somebody like that, and you got this guy who's never done it before, I can see all sorts of potential problems. I see Jets fans going, you're a fucking bum. I can see all that stuff. Jake, am I off base? Do you think it's fine if we get a guy in here who's never called plays before?
Not unless you have like a senior level assistant brought in. Like to be fair to the Jets, their plan was not just Mike LaFleur and nobody else. Like Greg Knapp was supposed to play a part. Salah's mistake, LaFleur's mistake was all you had for Zach Wilson this year was Rob Calabrese with Mike LaFleur. Like you never replaced that. You never filled that role. So they got to fill that role regardless who the quarterback is, especially if you're serious about keeping Zach Wilson. Like under no scenario could you say, we still believe in Zach, we want to develop him, and then you don't make changes to the coaching staff. Like that doesn't make any sense. They had no choice but to do something. But now, whether it's Carr, Lamar, Brady, insert whoever they're going to bring in. I'd prefer the OC to be someone experienced. And if they're not, the O-line coach better be experienced. The passing game coordinator better be experienced. Like you got to add some experience to the staff if your main offensive coordinator is another guy that's never called plays before.
Yeah. Well, you brought up an interesting thing, and Gunny, I'll throw this to you too, and then I want to talk quarterbacks for a few minutes. The senior assistant thing. Now I was just talking about the Greg Knapp thing, before you got here, Jake, and I've literally been called a broken record this past season. I bring up the Greg Knapp thing all the time. Excuse, stop it. But the truth is that was the plan, right? That was the plan. We know that was the plan. Knapp is a very respected quarterback guy, offensive mind, all those things. And he was taken from us. Now they did go and grab Matt Cavanaugh for that 1 year. They pulled him off the couch, probably begged him, said, dude, we need help. He felt bad for us because of the death. And okay, he comes off the couch and he hangs out with us for a year. But then they start talking about we wanted less voices in the room. Now that to me says that maybe Cavanaugh wasn't jiving with the young bucks in the house. Maybe LaFleur, and who's seemingly turning off people all over the place. Maybe LaFleur and Cavanaugh were butting heads a little bit, and they decided, hey, we're going to give this whole thing to LaFleur and Calabrese. And I don't think it boded, it didn't work out too well, particularly for Zach. And then, by proxy, us, we didn't get to see any. So I don't know, I think, again, with Saleh having that as the original plan, I think that could be something he's going for. What about like Brian Callahan and maybe grabbing his pops for the offensive line? Do you think is that a pipe dream? Am I just nuts here?
Well, I guess he doesn't call the plays with Cincinnati, right? Zach Taylor does. So would he leave that to call the plays? See, I don't know. Like, if you're Brian Callahan, you want to be an NFL head coach. Are you better off staying with Cincinnati, guaranteed to seemingly be in the playoffs every year with Joe Burrow? You're going to look good because that guy's amazing. Or is it better to leave that because you're not the play caller, because the head coach calls the plays, and go to a team like the Jets? And if you have success there, people know it's all you because the Jet head coach is not calling the plays. He's a defensive-minded guy. I don't know the answer to that. I feel like the bigger risk is going to the Jets, given their history, but I could argue both sides of it. If Saleh wants to sell Brian Callahan on that, the sales pitch is rather easy. We're going to bring in a veteran. You're going to be the guy calling the shots. When we have success because of our top 5 defense, Breece Hall, AVT, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, like, it's going to be you, and you're going to get that head coaching job. And then his dad hopefully comes back and coaches the O-line, and we're thrilled.
Oh my God. He was, dude, that was the look. The last time we had that O-line to really be proud of, it was him. It was his O-line.
They had a good. People don't give Rex Ryan enough credit. There's things to criticize Rex for, but one thing you can't knock him for, the guy knew how to hire a hell of a coaching staff. Like the Jets coaching staff you go back and look, the 2009 and 10, and really 11 too for part of it. The coaching staffs the Jets had the last time this franchise was relevant consistently, they were outstanding. Look at the amount of guys that ended up being head coaches elsewhere or coordinators. Like, it's look at the position coach. Anthony Lynn was the running backs coach. Right. Guy was an NFL head coach and an OC. Like, they really had a phenomenal coaching staff. Mike Westhoff should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
I agree.
They had a great staff. They really did.
Yeah, then you had Pettin. He was a head coach, and lots of talent. And Schottenheimer, say what you want, he's been bouncing around the league. It's weird, but Schottenheimer gets like a lot of success, and then he just, I don't know, he's always falls apart for some reason.
He's the longest tenured Jet OC in the last 20 years. 06.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? 4 years? I think that's all it was.
Longer. 06 to 2011. That's in Jet years. That's like the equivalent of a 40-year run.
Right. He was with Mangini. That's right. He was with Mangini first. That was the guy Rex. He was Rex's Brant Boyer. You know what I mean? So he just kept him along.
He was. Dude, Shoddy had Pennington. Shoddy had Kellen Clemens. He had the Favre year. He had Sanchez. Brian Schottenheimer, he had a nice run with the Jets. I know I despise Shoddy by the end, but over time I realized maybe it was more Mark Sanchez than necessarily him. You got to give him some credit.
Yeah. So Gunny, bouncing that to you a little bit, like, what do you think about, it's like the vet, like the new play caller with the vet, I guess senior offensive assistant will call him. You think that's a way that we should go, or do you think we should just get an offensive coordinator with some experience, let him hire his offensive line coach. And by the way, we got to get a wide receivers coach too. Ours turned out to be a rabid gambler. I don't know what's really going on.
A degenerate gambler.
You never know what was really going on there. But so no matter how you slice it, though, we have a couple coaching vacancies.
I heard he was betting the under on every Jets game. He was just winning.
Is that what you see that? He's a multi-millionaire. He's fine.
Multi-millionaire.
Jets team total under. That was a popular bet for Miles Austin.
Yeah. He's like, I'm okay with losing the job. I don't care. I made 30 mil on the Jets this year. Yeah, I mean, so, what do you think about that idea with maybe the two coaches, or just you prefer just a guy with experience?
I want to go with experience, if I'm being honest. I think this whole concept of let's just bring in another a young OC with upside. We're not in that space as an organization. We tried it with Mike LaFleur. We're seeing a lot of those issues popping up now in hindsight. We've got a very young core that needs direction and focus. And I think you bring somebody that's done it before in the league, it can be a huge benefit to see a boost as to what these guys can truly achieve. For me, I'm big on bringing in a guy who's done it before, understands what kind of talent he has and how to go ahead and cater his offense to the talent that he currently has on the roster, and making a move that way. I think once you get too many cooks in the kitchen trying to go ahead and alter recipes and give advice on how they would do, it just can cause a mess. It can cause a mess. And I understand where the coaching staff was going with trying to reinforce that and saying, listen, Jets fans, we know you're frustrated. We tried the young route with Coach LaFleur. And I think more so that was going to be if they kept Coach LaFleur on the staff, they're going to bring in that offensive veteran to kind of come in and kind of oversee and provide assistance. I think in this situation right now, man, we've got a couple of options out there with guys with experience. And let's just go that route. Bring in that guy. He go ahead and brings in his offensive coaching staff. Let's go ahead and just streamline the entire process. And I want somebody who can look again. I for one am on the other side of believing this is one of the more desirable positions, right? People are killing me for this on Twitter. But if you're going to sit here and tell me you don't want an opportunity as an offensive coach, now again, to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL, you have to be one of the top 32 individuals at your position in the game of football. To have that opportunity, you have to be an alpha type personality, an ultra competitor. You're going to tell me you're going to come to New York and have a top 10 running back room, a top 10 wide receiver room, a top 10 tight end room, even the 20th ranked offensive line with all of the scattering being done this season. So Crazy. When healthy, we'll just say top 15, top 10 at worst case. But with the quarterback position being the only concern, you have a top 5 defense that's going to get you the ball back consistently. Oh, and by the way, just score above 17 points a game. Above 17 points a game. If we had done that this season, we win 3 more games and we're in the playoffs. We're not asking for the next Andy Reid or Mike Shanahan. We're not asking for that. We're looking for a competent OC to come in here. And by the way, if you win in New York, congratulations. You can write your ticket to be a head coach wherever you want, because nobody's expecting us to go ahead and do what we would hope to do by being average as an organization. Now, worst case scenario, I'm hearing, oh, okay, well, why would you want to come there? The coaching staff is on a hot seat. Cool. If you're an offensive coordinator and you come here and show competency to be able to go ahead and make this offense move and operate, and we're still losing games, that means special teams fell back and then defense fell back. That's the only way that happens. So if that happens, guess what? You're the first person we're talking to be the next head coach of the New York Jets. There's just so much upside to being an because again, coaches in the NFL, in case y'all want to wear, their contracts are guaranteed. So no one's coming here with a 1-year contract. They're going to get a 3-year contract like every other guy. We're still paying. We're still going to be paying freaking Mike LaFleur, and he's not even on the roster. They get guaranteed contracts. So there is really minimal risk. And if you fall apart and it sucks, oh, well, I mean, we get it. You were playing.
It was the Jets.
It's the Jets. Exactly.
What do you want me to do?
Jets. You can intelligently speak about it, and you're good. So for me, it's one of those jobs I think that has a lot of upside. The risk outweighs. The reward outweighs the risk. Being the Jets OC coming into this house this year. So for me, if I'm a coach, I want to go to the Jets.
You know what? You might have turned me. You might have said, I now believe. Right, right Jake? This guy, I'm like, you know what? Those are some fucking good points right there. I'm excited about it.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of OC jobs open. Like it's not look,
A
it's not
ton.
the best job, but it's also by far not the worst by any means. And also, if you
No.
believe in Joe Douglas and you believe in Robert Saleh, I could tell you people across the league think the world of those guys. So like I do think like Saleh could sit down with an OC candidate and be like, look, I know you're hearing rumblings of this being a big year, and it is a big year, but guess what? We expect to be a playoff team. Like, we're not worried about losing our jobs because we know we're going to be a playoff team. We're going to
Facts.
solve quarterback. We have we have the pieces in place on offense. We already have proven we have a top 5 defense in the sport. Like, you got to get the right person, but this is not a doom and gloom scenario for the Jets. Like, yes, there are big decisions they have to get right, but I'd rather take where they're at right now compared to where they have been the last 7 years. Like, they at least have a clear path to getting to the playoffs. We know what that is.
Totally. I mean, look at the Todd Bowles years. You know, we had Chan Gailey, he's gone. Then they bring in John Morton. They fire him real quick.
Where's
and
John
it's
Morton at, by the way? He is like the best OC they've had
was
since
good,
Chan Gailey.
right? Where the hell is John Morton? Let me check this out. But it's an interesting thing, you know, like you bring up a great point. Even though there's a lot of negatives that are attached to this job, you know, whether even real or not, there's just a negative connotation. When you talk to the Jets, there's just a lot of associated negatives with it. And the coaches might be on the hot seat. But that all said, there's a lot more going on here than in years past. Robert Saleh, again, look at what he's done in 2 years. Now, look, that fucking 6-game skid was epic, even by Jets proportions. Terrible, terrible, terrible collapse at the end of the year. But that aside, there's a lot of stuff changing here. The culture is completely different. We do have offensive weapons. Like Gunny said, I mean, with all of our injuries, we were still in the top 20 offensive line with all that stuff. I was saying that not at any point, even with we're playing Cedric Abuye and Herbig and all these guys, and we were still better than any one of the Mike McCagnon offensive lines that he put together. So there's a lot to be said for that. And like you said, attach that to a number 1 defense that was giving our offense the ball back all day long. I think that could be a pretty positive way to look at this thing. It's not what we were in the past. Now, let me ask you, I see it I see 2 comments, I believe, in the chat right now. John Morton, Nick Mangold, Jake. I know it's touching our heartstrings. I couldn't love Nick Mangold more than I do, and his hot sauce or barbecue sauce is good. So you add that to it. And I do believe he's ultimately going to be a Hall of Famer. I love Nick Mangold. He said he'd like to be an offensive line coach for the Jets. Now, maybe it's a joke, whatever. Any real consideration, Jake, of Nick Mangold being the guy that we bring in to coach the O-line?
Yeah, look, I don't think they'd make him like the head offensive line coach, but like Leon Washington is on this coaching staff right now as an assistant. If Nick's serious about coaching, he should be on the staff. Maybe he's a coaching intern for a year to see if he likes it. That's kind of how a lot of former players get their start. If Nick Mangold wants to just lend his time in minicamp or training camp and speak to the O-line or be around them for a couple of days, you do it. He's amazing. He's an awesome guy. Yes, if Nick Mangold wants to be part of the Jets, he's part of the Jets. He has earned that right as a man in the Ring of Honor.
Oh, see, I like that idea. And that's a good way to frame it, right? Leon Washington's here. You know, hey, look, man, I heard a little whisper, and I doubt it's even true. It's probably the same guy that told me the other thing on Twitter. But that if they're considering moving on from Boyer, Leon Washington might be poised to step in that role. Any validity to that, Jake? Have you heard anything about Leon?
I have not. Now, he hasn't been coaching that long. That's the thing. Like,
2 years, right?
Yeah. Let me look at his coaching bio here. You know, I did see some great Leon Washington highlights on Twitter the other day, though, from that, Monday night win in 06 in the rain against Miami. They got the Jets basically in prime position for the playoffs. But I don't know off the top of my head how long Leon Washington's been coaching in general.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about this guy, Nathaniel Hackett. I'm literally seeing extremes on both ends. I'm seeing guys like, oh, he would be the best guy for the job, and he would bring Aaron Rodgers. He would soften the landing strip for maybe Aaron Rodgers to come over. Jake, and then I'll bounce it to you, Gunny. Nathaniel Hackett, I know he had a tough year in Denver. Any consideration for this guy?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think the Jets should be criticized for talking to him. But let me remind every Jet fan that sometimes failed head coaches actually are pretty good coordinators. Have you heard of Todd Bowles? He was an excellent defensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels is a joke of an NFL head coach. He was a damn good OC for many years. Bill O'Brien, I know Texans fans despise him, they think he's like Satan. He was a mediocre head coach. It was when he became a GM, it was a disaster, but he was a very good offensive play caller with the Patriots the first time around. Like, there's Norv Turner. There's countless examples of this, of like a guy who is an awful head coach. They're in over their head, but they actually were pretty good, either offensive or defensive coordinators. So I don't hate the Nate Hackett thing. This guy had Blake Bortles in an AFC championship game with a lead. They should have won. They had a top 10 offense that year. Where Aaron Rodgers swears by him. Do I think that means Aaron Rodgers is coming here? Not necessarily, but I don't know. You can't be anti the Jets talking to someone that does have experience just because he was a bad head coach. Like, if that's the bar, then no one's going to get hired, because anyone with experience that has been a head coach, the only reason why they're available in the first place is because they were not good at it. They failed. Otherwise, they'd still be a head coach.
Facts.
Not a bad point. It's not a bad point. Do you feel the same, Gunny, about Nathaniel?
100%. Like, I don't understand this logic. Like, oh my God, why do we want this guy to come in here when we just saw the debacle that was freaking the Denver Broncos? A head coach and a coordinator, two huge different. That's like saying, like, oh man, the CEO of a company failed, but he sucked as a supervisor before when he was working his way up the ladder. That's literally what the comparison is like. A supervisor and a CEO. Oh man, he sucked as a CEO. Means he sucked as it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Like, I'm with Jake 1,000%. I'm excited about Nathaniel Hackett. I was very pumped we brought him in today. Again, one of those guys, Blake Bortles looked like a competent NFL quarterback in his system. And for me, I'm like, sold. Because again, I'm not naive enough to think we're going to be getting the next Andy Reid or the next Sean Payton or the next freaking a Shanahan. It's not happening. Those guys got jobs because they're elite at what they do. Everybody we talked to was let go from somebody, right? Or there's somebody we're taking a chance on being a new OC. And Hackett, to me, is one of those guys that I was pumped to hear. He was in the room to have an interview. Now, but I have my hopes and dreams. Fingers crossed that it's going to be Frank Reich. I'm a big fan of him. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. I know he's taking head coach interviews, but God willing, he wants to come back to New York and potentially lead this offense to greatness again, right? So I'm really high on him. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can dream. But no, Hackett is definitely somebody I'm excited about, and I'm pumped that he got an interview.
Now, let me say this about Frank Reich. This past month in my my Patreon, the Beanbaggers, once a month, we rewind and watch a classic Jets game together in a private Zoom room. This last month in December, we watched the only victory from the 1996 New York Jets. It was actually an exceptional game. It was so fun. God. Lots of points. That was the best 1-15 team in NFL history, right? We had Keyshawn. I mean, we had so many fun guys, but the quarterback was none other than Frank Reich.
He's from Long Island. Game. It's a great story. He played for the Jets. Like, sign me up. Look, his best pal in the world is Boomer Esiason. So Boomer Esiason's a true New Yorker. He's on the phone with Frank every day, telling him, if you can't become a head coach this cycle, the Jets are perfect for you. Go to the Jets,
Facts.
Do well, and guess what? You're gonna get all the hype from doing it in New York. You're gonna be a head coach after a year.
Anywhere you want to go.
It's the truth. It really is. Now, look, Frank Reich, just to be fair, he threw 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, I think. Something like that in that game. Very bipolar-y kind of game. Really good. And then, oh, man, what's he doing? And that was the problem. The Jets that year just seemed to give the game away. The announcers, it was funny. We're even saying, well, here comes the Jets looking like they're trying to give the game away again like they've done all year. Like, that's the kind of stuff that they were saying. But it's really fun to go back there and watch some of that stuff. But yeah, a lot of people forget or didn't even know that Frank Reich was the quarterback of the New York Jets for a few minutes there, replacing Neil O'Donnell, the great Neil O'Donnell from Morris Plains, New Jersey, the hometown hero. But okay, so look, it's almost 10 o'clock. I want to get to the trivia, but before we do, Jake, I'm very curious. A lot of stuff came out about one Elijah Moore today, and we talked about a little bit earlier, but I'm very curious to find out what you think. Now, just for a little bit of landscape setting here. We knew about the rift, right? We knew about all that stuff. We know Elijah Moore was upset. We know that they sent him home, and we know that he asked for a trade. And then on the back end, we know that it calmed down and he got a few looks here and there, but definitely not what we were expecting. Like you mentioned it earlier, we thought Elijah Moore was going to have a breakout year this year. We thought he was going to be something. Didn't end up happening, but it got cool at least. It all kind of settled. But now we're hearing some of the specifics that Elijah Moore told Mike LaFleur in front of everybody, go F yourself, and that he sucks. So what do you make out of this story? Is it bad for Elijah Moore? Is it bad for Mike LaFleur? Do you think it's, the tip of the iceberg? What is your impression of what we heard about Elijah Moore today?
Yeah, really good job by Zach Rosenblatt with the story. I mean, the big picture thing is like, this is why LaFleur had to go. Like the locker room, it feels like lost a lot of respect for his ability to like be an offensive mind, be a play caller. I mean, Elijah Moore is not blameless here. Like, who the hell are you, Elijah Moore, to be like cursing out a coach? That being said, Like these things kind of happen, and it kind of shed some light on where the season was going in hindsight, right? I mean, the Jets were winning when Elijah Moore, had his temper tantrum at practice. It was after the Packer game before they would then go on the road and beat Denver that week. So, it's not a good look for Elijah Moore, but I will say this: pretty good job by Robert Saleh keeping all that in house for this long and being able to kind of make the best of that situation. Like, they didn't trade Elijah Moore. He came back. He wasn't a malcontent in the locker room seemingly after that. So it was a good story, but like, I don't know, the Fleur's gone. Zach Wilson's not starting next year. Like, they kind of need Elijah Moore to be decent. If you look at the free agent wide receivers, they're trash. So they kind of need Elijah Moore to be a big part of their offense next year.
And he can be. I see no reason why he shouldn't be, man.
Right.
He was, it's like he's open. I mean, I saw plenty of plays this year. Particularly earlier in the season, he was open all over the place. It'd be real nice if we get a quarterback and offensive coordinator duo that says, you know what, why don't we use this guy over here? He seems to be able to get open, and when he has the ball in his hands, he's a pretty good bet to do something with it. He gets some nice yak. In addition, I'd really like to see a resurgence from a guy like Elijah Moore. Now, Matt O'Leary's in the house. What's up, Matt O'Leary? Good to see you. Real quick. Both of you. Todd Monken, anybody? Jake, you want Todd Monken? Is he a guy that you would seriously consider?
Yeah, I would love Monken. Let me call out the BS from the Johnson family for a second about Todd Monken. So Albert Breer wrote a story the other day and says, as for Todd Monken, the Jets ownership loved Monken. He actually was the runner-up in 2019 for the Jets head coaching job that went to Adam Gase. I'm thinking to myself, you don't like Woody, Christopher, whoever leaked that info to Albert Breer. You don't get to pretend like you weren't intimately involved in that hiring. Like, this is mainly at Chris Johnson or whatever. I don't want to hear that. Oh, well, you loved Monken, but Adam Gase won because that's who McCagnon wanted. Let's blame McCagnon and Heimerdinger or whatever the guy's name is.
Or Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton Manning.
That drove me. I like Monken. Sign me up. He's making $2 million a year, I believe, at Georgia. You're going to have to pay him, but I'm in if he wants this gig. I don't know why he would necessarily want it. I feel like Georgia might be a better job right now, but if he truly wants to go back to the NFL, we talked about it. You do well with the Jets, you're going to get a lot of hype, a lot of praise, and guess what? You're going to be hyped up to be a head coach in no time by next year.
I like it. What do you think about Todd Monken, Gunny?
I absolutely love it, and I was very, very salty at the fact that we went with Adam Gase over Monken. I do blame Peyton Manning for that. I have a lot of hate in my heart, and I'm a big fan of Peyton Manning, but I had a lot of hate in my heart when I realized Peyton Manning was potentially the person that wrote off on why we should go ahead and go with Gase. If Monken could get in here, I'm with Matt on it. Yes, Gase over Monken is criminal, 100%. It was absolutely criminal. I would love for that to happen, but I don't think it's going to. Again, $2 million a year in Georgia. It's the number one program in the country. You're right now on top of the world. You're able to go ahead and get any head coaching job you want to in college football. If you're going to come here and to the NFL, chances are you might be able to go ahead and get yourself into a head coaching role. I think the only way it happens is, yes, they're going to have to open up the checkbook a little bit and pay this man. But also, it might have to be in a role of like an assistant head coach. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, just as the OC for the Jets, I just don't know if that's enough to go ahead and entice him to leave Georgia. If it happens, great. That's a huge win. That's a huge dub by Joe Douglas. Like, win. But I think if it happens, we're going to be seeing more of an assistant head coach type of title. in charge totally of the offense type of route will allow him to potentially leave Georgia.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm really sorry about bringing up Todd Monken. And it's like we can't help but bring up Gase, and I really am sorry, everybody. It wasn't my intention. It's everybody's like Matt's like it makes me sick. Like it's the truth, man. Like I was on Jetnation. Back then I wasn't making YouTube videos or anything, but I was on Jetnation probably 18 hours of every day talking Jets, and we were I was convinced that it was going to be McCarthy. Then we heard the Matt Rule stuff, and that's all great. When it came out of nowhere, Adam Gase is the guy. For an hour and a half, I was convinced it was a false report. I just refreshed, looking, Twitter, this. I could not believe that that's what we did. And then the press conference. I don't know what's happening.
The biggest joke ever. Like I will never like people shit all over. I can curse on this, right? I guess it's too late. People cry. I can't curse on the radio. That's why I like this freedom. People shit all over Woody Johnson, and I get it. He should be criticized. The team has not been overall good the last 12 years. Woody Johnson did not hire Adam Gase. That was his dumbass brother that got up there at that podium that day. And so I don't know why we're talking about Gase, but had the audacity to say that Adam Gase, to quote Wayne Gretzky, is coaching football to where it's going. Like, I am forever enraged that someone could be bamboozled, hoodwinked, whatever else Stephen A. Smith said that night on SportsCenter after the Knicks took Porzingis, led astray into hiring Adam freaking Gase, who failed with a team in your own division, and because Peyton Manning called you and recommended him because Gase got him coffee in Denver, you hired him. Like, I'll never forgive the Jets for that. That was the worst 2 years ever. The Adam Gase era. We all knew as fans it was over the second he was hired. We were the laughing stocks of the NFL. That's exactly what happened for 2 years.
It's really true. Like all of us, the second it happened, we were waiting till he got fired. Like, that's it. Like, we knew it. I was hoping he was so bad that it would happen in 1 year. That's what I was hoping.
That's right. That's
right,
me too.
And then the next year, I was literally rooting for 0-16. Like, that's not.
I wanted Gase to wear it. I'm like, please, like, I was when they beat the Rams, I was so depressed because I wanted Adam Gase to have to wear the stink of 0-16. Like, that's I was more mad that he didn't go 0-16 than the Jets actually won and lost out on the first pick. Like, it's honestly, I don't know if Adam Gase is a good guy, a bad guy, whatever, but he was the worst. And here's what a lot of Jet fans don't know. The media games that he would play. Rich Cimini told me on my show last year that Gase would call him after every Jet game. So Rich told me last year, he's like, yeah, I probably should have been harder on Gase, but I liked him personally. I had a good relationship with the guy. This is what he did in Miami too. He would befriend the beat. He would give them stories. He'd be buddy with them. Manish Mehta started going to town on Gase because Gase wouldn't give him the same exclusive stuff that he was given to the other beat. That's what started all this. So Gase lasted longer than he should have because he was friendly with the media. He should have been fired after 1 year, but he had these relationships. And then it spiraled out of control after 2019 into 2020, where it's like, you got to fire the guy. They're the worst team in football. But he was the worst. And he conned the Jets into giving him a second chance of being a head coach. It drives me nuts.
It really, I mean, it's so bad, dude. And dude, just remember this. In the middle of games, more than once, our head coach was sitting alone on the bench, writing down in a book. Like, your quarterback he's a young kid. He's freaking out. He's seeing ghosts. He's over there on the bench. He's sitting alone because you didn't hire a quarterback coach or any real offensive coordinator. He's sitting alone on this side. And
where's Darryl Loggins? Screaming, where's Darryl Loggins? Does Darryl Loggins want to be on the Jets coaching staff? Let's bring Darryl Loggins back.
Yeah, he's a bad person, right? Gase is a bad person. I'm convinced. He's bad. Look what he did to us, the bad. And then he stole 0-16, that mother. We should have had Trevor Lawrence, man. Trevor Lawrence should be our quarterback. That was our one gift. Hey, E-Boogie, thank you for the super sticker. I hope everybody's enjoying it. Those are delightful, and I appreciate that. Now, we're going to go ahead and move into the trivia section. Jake, you going to hang out and do some trivia with us?
Yeah, can I eat my taco as we trivia it up? All right, here we go.
Absolutely.
We're ready.
There you go. All right, let's all watch him. There he is.
There we go.
There it is.
Right there.
Good. I'm glad you finally got a bite, man. I feel bad. I want you to eat that stuff. That's what I want. So we're going to bring on our good friend, and Presidente of the Virginia Jets fan club, Mr. Y2K. Look at him over there. What are you, Adam Gase? There he is. We found Adam Gase. Your eyes look a little relaxed tonight, Adam Gase. Yeah, there he is.
Like I said in the chat, I am ashamed to share the same first name as Coach Gase. Let me say that for the record.
Wow, your name's Wah.
But yes, it is. Yes, it is Wah. Well, that's that was my middle name on my birth certificate.
Yeah, right. I see.
But you got to remember, would Joe Douglas be here if not for Adam Gase? That's the one thing we got to keep in mind.
That's it.
That's his
a lot of these guys in the chat, they think he sucks anyway. Worst GM we've ever had, I hear. So there's that. But I'm grateful. That's the one bonus that we got out of the Adam Gase shit fest. So what a crazy time. I'm glad this felt very therapeutic to me. We got to raise our voices and dump a little bit of this. This was nice.
I haven't
getting it off our chest.
Yeah, like it's good to know that my disdain for that whole time in our life as Jet fans is still there. Like I was doing national radio at the time, and like every day I needed to do a different Gase segment just to unload. That's honestly what started this YouTube channel for me. I would post those segments on my YouTube and they'd get more views than the other stuff I'd post. So I'm like, maybe we have something here with the Jets. But me shitting all over Adam Gase and the Jets organization is what started the Jake Asman show on YouTube. So thank you.
Wow. So you should thank him.
Wow.
You should have him on as a guest and thank him.
You guys know what he's doing now,
all
right?
tune in for that.
So Gase is Peyton Manning's like quarterback film guy for the Manning cast. Brian Costello broke that story last year, like on his podcast. He didn't write about it, but Gase like does like a lot of the film study for Peyton. He'll put together clips and different like tendencies for the teams that are on Monday night. So Peyton and Eli could like sound smart talking about the different things that they're doing.
Hey man, that suits them. You know what I mean? Let them just sit there behind the scenes and nerd out. You know what I mean?
Back with Peyton, his good buddy who he got.
That's right.
Yeah.
Getting the
His
coffee.
best.
Yep.
I don't know. I wonder what he did for Peyton that he loves him so much. Because we weren't the only team that he called. He called the Browns as well and tried to get them to hire Adam. So he was on like a little bit of a tirade. Crazy, man.
Yeah, I wonder if Peyton runs for president one day or something, because he's going to get past football one day. He's going to do even bigger. He runs for president. Gase will be his running mate. Just
I
watch.
know. It's the truth. If he runs for president of the Virginia Jets fan club, we're gonna make a big push though.
I might have to resign at that moment and take my out the
lose to Adam Gase. All right, guys. Well, look, it is trivia time. Dean Britton, I see the super chat. Thank you, buddy. I don't see a comment. We'll keep our eyes open for it. And if there's something there, there's this. Love the chat, boys. Well, thank you, Dean. That's just pure love, and I enjoy that. And I love you, and I thank you. And thanks to all you guys. I see the chat has been strewn with 10,000 congratulatory chat messages, and I'm truly grateful. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. So we're going to do trivia now. And trivia rules are as follows. Y2K, as we know, is our trivia expert. He spends all week digging through the annals of Jets history to find the perfect trivia question that relates to our current circumstance. So here's the rules. Y2K is going to ask us a question. We ask that you do not use a search engine, Encyclopedia Britannica, anything like that. We want to try to do this from our heads. We have 4 minutes to answer the question. You can guess as many times as you want in the chat. We'll discuss it over here and see if we can't get it right. When the 4-minute buzzer hits and we didn't get it, we are wrong. We lose. So we're doing pretty good, though, guys. I think we got a strong chat in here tonight. We got Jake. We got Gunny. This is going to be fun. Y2K, you are up.
Oh, boy. And I got to say this. Credit to Jake for staying around for trivia. The only other guest who I think has stayed around is Mike Westhoff.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The coolest thing I think ever was that I got to ask Mike Westhoff a trivia question about Jet special teams. So
did he get it right?
No, he had no shot.
He's like, I don't know.
He was on Frankie's level in terms of answering questions. It was actually quite funny. But on that note, we're going to do a question that's kind of similar to that. We're going to talk about special teams tonight, as a matter of fact. So Justin Hardy, number 34, All-Pro Justin Hardy, Pro Bowler Justin Hardy. If he stays around for next season, it is going to be his third year as a New York Jet. And, in the history of the New York Jets, there have only been 3 players who wore number 34 for 3 seasons or more. Your job is to name those 3 players, and your time starts now.
All right, just to make sure we're clear, we're going to 3 players that did what now?
They wore the number 34 for the Jets
Okay.
for at least 3 seasons.
3 seasons. Okay. All right, guys, get your answers ready in the chat. Jake, you want to take a swing? You have any idea of one of them?
One is Lamont Jordan. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Yep, 2001 to 2004.
Absolutely. I got one right here.
I know you do. Yeah, I know.
I got Johnny Hector all day, every day.
1983 to 1992. That's right. 2 down and 1 to go.
All right. So Trisnick said Lamont Jordan as well. So did Frozen Vapors and Matt O'Leary. Look at it. Sneakers to boots. Everybody had the Lamont Jordan. Disinfo had Johnny Hector with me. Good Citizen says Pool. Now, the tricky thing with Pool is there's more than one. So Y2K, I defer to you.
I know who he means. He means Brian Poole, but Brian Poole was our slot corner for only 2 years.
Yeah, he wasn't there long enough.
That's right. There's the other wrinkle. Okay, so let's see what else we got in the chat. Hey, Gunny, you got any guesses here?
I went with Pool in my head too, so that just got taken away from me. I'm kind of baffled right now what the last one might be.
Isn't that funny? It's like we know all this stuff, and every time Y2K asks a question, we're like,
Yo, but he's like freaking like the Riddler of New York Jets.
Riddle me this, riddle me that.
Now, how about Isaiah?
Who wore number 34 on his back? All right.
Isaiah Trufant? No,
not Isaiah Trufant. We got a winner. Yep, the chat got it.
What?
Mr. Magix got number 3, Marquise Cole from 2009 to 2011.
Cole.
Now,
Marquise Cole. That is correct.
If everybody wants to know, there's a very famous picture of Marquise Cole. I'll try to find it. Jets, let's call it Jets Colts. Very, very famous picture. Let me see if I can find it. If you don't remember it, hopefully it's out there. I've seen it 1,000 times, but now tonight I can't seem to find it. There's a beautiful picture. If you're a Colts fan, it's really stunning. It's Marquise Cole completely outstretched as far as he can go. And the ball is right here because Peyton Manning was on fire. I think it was Pierre Garçon that was receiving the ball. Marquise Cole did everything he could. It was not enough, and there was a touchdown. Brutal. We had Cromartie and Revis and all the dude. Peyton Manning didn't care. He has 5 receivers deep. He'll beat us with the 5th guy. He don't give a shit. He'll just, dude. He surgically tore us apart. And sad to say, Marquise Cole was on the receiving end.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. You were at that game.
I was there for both Jets Colts playoff games. I was living in Chicago at the time, and I drove the 4 hours to Indianapolis for both those games.
Wow. Well, at least you saw a win in one of them.
Yeah.
Believe me, the revenge was sweet. Most Colts fans were cool afterwards. I was just, they're like, okay, go beat New England. And we did. But that was the night I got used to 5-hour energy trying to do that 4-hour drive back to Chicago at 2 a.m.
There you go. Wait, so who's the guy who got it? Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. Who's the guy who got it first? I can't seem to find it.
I'm not sure. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Mr. Magix, or I think that's how you say it.
Magix. Magix. There he is.
Got it.
So, Mr. Magix, I didn't tell anybody this, but you, my friend, win a Green Bean t-shirt if you want it. That is. I'll show you which one. Here you go.
Who wouldn't want that? That's like worth millions.
Like, seriously. He wants it.
I don't even think
my stock in Green Bean apparel. Absolutely. If not Manscaped,
you're going to win. Which one is this? Is this Gripe or Happenstance? Let me see here. This is the Gripe Intelligently Green Bean shirt. It is coming to you, Mr. Magix. You know, we talk on Discord and stuff, but send me an email. My email is in the description of this video. Just let me know where to send it. I'll ship it out tomorrow. And you, my friend, along with, James Thompson, who won a shirt earlier. This is all in celebratory fashion for 10,000 subs. Big day over here, man. Yeah, thank you.
And Ryan's here. Ryan just showed up in the chat to say hello.
Ryan. Everybody's here. This is great. Everybody's so happy. And, look at this. Where'd he go? Where is he?
Everybody's coming by for you to sign it. You got to sign these shirts. Apparently, that's what I'm seeing a request for. You
Oh
got to
shit!
sign it.
I got Sharpies all over the joint. You let me know if you really want me to sign it. You just let me know in the email. I'm happy to sign. I'll write anything you want. You want me to talk about how much you've helped me in my personal life, whatever you want me to write. I'll write anything. I don't care. I'll write anything. So yeah, there you go. So congratulations, guys. Now I want to give something else away, but I want to give Jake the opportunity to leave if you want to. Seriously, I so appreciate you carving out some time for us tonight. I know you're busy, man. There were some comments in the chat that you look like might be working overtime tonight. I don't know what else you did all day, but so I know it's late. You know, I know that, and I appreciate it. I'm going to hang out for another 15 minutes or so, but you are more than welcome to leave. I'm just going to be giving some shit away. So the show's essentially over in that respect, but I'll leave that to you, Jake.
GreenBean, you're the best. I'm going to dip just because I'm supposed to meet some people at 9:30 here for a drink or two. So I'm going to eat this remaining taco, probably watch trivia while I do it, and I look forward to finding out who's going to win another shirt.
Well, there you go. So, well, listen, Jake, he's going to go have some drinks. Well, let me ask you this, Jake. When you go out and have a drink, what's the drink you order?
You know, it depends where I'm at. I am a big old fashioned guy, but it's got to be a good bar where they actually do old fashions. Other than that, I'm a vodka guy as well. So probably a vodka drink if I'm not doing an old fashioned. I also like beer as well. So I believe we're going to like an outdoor bar thing. It's nice to be in Houston where right now it's 68 degrees. Oh, by the way. So it's pretty good. I'll take that. I mean, I know one of our on-air people right now knows the thing.
Gunny's like, I'm on my way.
Gunny's like, hell yeah.
He's like, what right now?
I'll see you in a bit, bro. Just shoot me that address.
I got
Let's take the road by Chipotle. It's closed.
I know. Look at this taco I still have to devour here, so I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, that's
First world
badass,
problems, bro. First world problems.
Yeah, right. That's some good stuff. Well, Jake, listen, man, thank you. Everybody knows who you are, but anything you got coming up, you want to let people know or where they can find you before you go ahead and get out of here?
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. So last year on the YouTube channel, I would have Cole Thompson, who covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated, on every week. He's also a radio show host. We're not this week, but the following week, we're gonna start doing Cole Thompson Fridays, where we do a mock draft, talk about what he's hearing the latest on the NFL draft. So that's gonna be coming back this year. A lot of people know Cole, and then I believe Mondays we're gonna do a weekly. Every Monday with Will Parkinson from Turn on the Jets. So two of the most popular requested guests will be weeklies throughout the offseason. So we're going to start that up soon. And obviously GreenBean will come on. Everyone in here always comes on. So it's going to be a blast and can't wait for that.
I can't wait to see what new Hawaiian shirts Cole has in his arsenal now.
He's got so many. He's skiing right now too. I'm like, you going to bring the Hawaiian shirt for Hawaiian shirt Friday when you're in the snow? Like, how's that going to work? I guess we'll find out.
But yeah, because he's a Lions fan. I remember that. Yeah.
He loves the cold weather.
Well, Jake Assman, everybody, at Jake Assman on YouTube. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you, man. And we'll talk again soon.
No problem, guys. Good luck to
night,
all the trivia players. See you guys soon.
See you later, brother.
There he goes, Jake Assman, popping in to hang out with us for a few minutes. Now let's wrap this up too. Well, you know, we're gonna give away a beautiful item right now. We're gonna give it to one of you guys in the chat. This brand new. This is like a $700 item, I think it is. Maybe $50 or $700. I forget which one it is. But either way, it's a fantastic item. We're going to give this away courtesy of Manscaped, the finest in below-the-waist men's grooming. But let's bring on the number one men's groomer himself, Mr. Jets Chaos. Jeremy, look at that. He's looking beautiful tonight, isn't he?
That boy looks smooth. Smooth.
No wonder the price of eggs keeps going up.
he's increasing the value, man. He's raising the value. Before I talk to you, Jeremy, I just want to say, Jason Edwards, thank you. I appreciate you, saying that. I'm glad you guys like it, dude. Jake's an easy guy to talk to, man. He's really easy to get along with. I'm really grateful that to be in his Jet circle. It's nice, and I appreciate you guys being able to hang out and watch. Now we get to up that even more with Jeremy from Jets Chaos. So what the hell's going on, man? Now, Y2K says that he's got some trivia, but Jeremy, did you know the last answer to that last one?
I got Johnny Hector instantly. I didn't know the others.
Glenn didn't know it either.
Glenn.
I was a very big Johnny Hector fan. One of my friends in Brooklyn for one reason or another when I was a kid used to call me Hector. So
So it's stuck, right?
It's stuck. Yeah.
I loved Johnny Hector, man. Like when I got into the Jets as a young kid, it was like Freeman, Hector, like those were like the first batch of guys that I like really knew. You know what I mean? So that same era, obviously, Gastineau, Klecko, and then you had Richard Todd, ultimately Ken O'Brien. That group of players, they're like really imprinted on my soul. Like, we've shared that. We're like, we became fans around the exact same time. So yeah, Johnny Hector. That was the first. I'm like, oh yeah, Johnny Hector. I got at least one of these guys. So Watsu says he has another trivia question. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to give this away to the first person who gets this question correct. That isn't us. Now, if we beat you in the chat, if we get it and you don't, we're going to do a randomizer. All right. But this gives you guys the opportunities to use your noggins and win this thing. Let's see how it goes. Watch2K, what's your second trivia question for the evening?
All right. Yeah. So we're not going to put a timer on this one. This is just going to be whoever gets it first. So I'm actually going to go back to the first question. The number that we pulled was the number 13. Well, we're going to do a number 13 question right now. So there have been two players who wore the number 13 for the New York Jets in a game. One of them, very well known, was Don Maynard. Who was the other one?
Now, what year did they retire the number 13?
I feel like I'd be giving that away, but I will tell you this. This was not somebody who played before Maynard. It was after. So this is not like a New York Titans question.
But it's going to be old. It's going to be pre-90s, I think. So, all right. What do you guys got?
Wait.
Greg McElroy.
It was not Greg McElroy.
I know this. I know this.
JoJo Townsell, J.E. says.
It was not JoJo Townsell.
Dave? Was it Dave?
We got a winner.
Dave. Did Gunny got it with Dave?
No, well, I got the first name, but Dave Jennings. Jordan.
Oh, yes, Jennings.
Dave Jennings.
God,
amazing.
For 2 years, the punter for 2 years, 1985 and 1980.
Had it. I was busting your balls.
I was like,
Dave.
Dave. And Jordan
Jennings.
Victor cuts in with Dave Jennings.
All right. So who was first? Was it Jordan Victor?
Jordan Victor? Yes.
First? All right. So Jordan, hey, congratulations, Jordan Victor. Let's see if he claims the damn prize. This is the third time I'm giving this thing away. The previous two have not checked in to grab it. So here it is again. No big deal, but now Jordan Victor, this is yours. All you have to do is email me. Let me know, hey, I'm Jordan Victor. In the chat, here's where I'd like that sent. I'll throw in some GreenBean stickers as well. I'll throw in GreenBean stickers for everybody. Maybe some Chex Mix sprinkled in there. We'll see. Whatever I have laying around, I'll throw cheese doodles in there. Whatever you guys like. It'll be bonus time. So there you go, guys. Congratulations, Jordan Victor. What a cool night. We gave away 2 T-shirts and a nose trimmer. Jeremy, you want to give anything away?
You serious?
If you want. I mean, I'm not pressuring you. I'm just saying, I know you like to give shit away. We'll promote your channel and,
Yeah, sure. We got a couple of packs of football cards from 1994 unopened.
All right.
That we can give out. So we can get 2 packs of unopened football cards from, I think it's, the 94 season, 95 set. So we give 2 packs of those away. Some of them, there's some good players in there that are valuable. So you could leave them wrapped, like they have value wrapped because of the potential, or you could gamble it that it's worth nothing once you open it up. But if you open it up, there might be like a Jerry Rice or
that's right.
Something like
maybe there's a Johnny Mitchell rookie card. I think that was around when he was drafted. Now, just for Jets lore, everybody, we have those were the Bruce Coslett / Pete Carroll years. So very, very terrible times for us. So you can harken back to some more good shit for the Jets. Watch you, Katie. You have another question? You want me to do a randomizer here?
I
don't want to blow all your questions if you got them.
I know we're going through a bunch of.
Yeah, no. Let's. All right, we're gonna do.
I'll do the randomizer on that one.
Yeah. Okay, let me get the number randomizer over here. Let me see. Randomizer. We're gonna do 1 to 16,000. and see how long this takes you. All right, 1 to 100. I'm gonna put the real number in the chat. Nobody guess yet. I'll tell you exactly when it starts. Let me make sure that's exactly. Yep, there it is. All right,
Anthony, I should give away chairs.
You should.
Probably
Right.
should.
I'll tell you what, dude. You're gonna have to make them pay for shipping now. That's where you're gonna get crushed.
That chair don't fold up for easy storage. I can promise you that. Okay, it's in the group. Let's watch the chat.
All right, so hold on, guys. I see Florida Jets fans on fire. It didn't
He's on
start
a hot
yet,
streak.
Florida.
He likes
All right, so
yours.
here it is. The first number is going to be the next one after Patty Grimes. So, holy shit, like 12 came in after Patty Grimes. Okay, so Venom Wrestling is the first one. You guys see the number in the private chat, right?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't see it yet.
Neither do
Wow,
I.
they're just
Got it. We got a winner. We got a
Right
winner.
there. Got it.
Twisted.
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 Twisted won it.
Twisted.
Twisted.
Oh, how cool.
He did it.
There he is. Twisted. He plays every
We don't know
week.
what you're getting, but congratulations.
Twisted, you know how to
Cards.
get Twisted. You know how to get a hold of me because Twisted already knows how to get a hold of me. So
Ooh, what does that mean?
it means he's like a member of my channel and everything. And we have a
Ah,
texting
okay.
thing. He can reach out. He has 3 different ways I get harassed by Twisted. No, I'm just kidding.
So Twisted, the ever honest Twisted says, I did put in 2 numbers. That's all right. Everybody puts in that. Only 2? That's all you did? People put in like 30 sometime. You're good. So, hey, congratulations, Twisted. You win the 1994-95 football card pack. That's great. We gave away the Manscaped Weed Whacker. We also gave away 2 GreenBean shirts. And again, I'm going to throw in some GreenBean stickers for you guys too. I recommend sticking them on stop signs and the like, wherever you'd like. Just stick them around the town. It's nice. People can see my mug all over the joint. All right, but that's going to do it. So let's go around the panel. Y2K, what do you got? What's the big thing you got coming up over here?
So like I was talking about with Jeremy last night, did a couple of Mets videos the other night, did a prospect profile, talked a little about Tommy Pham, their new 4th outfielder. I'll be doing my picks for the divisional round. Probably post that, I think, Friday. I actually went 6-0 in the first round, so feeling pretty good about that. But if you are a fan of pro wrestling, and I'm going to keep promoting this, I did a tribute to Jay Briscoe, one of my favorite wrestlers who died very suddenly in a car accident 2 days ago. Guy who I hung out with after shows, Ring of Honor shows. Yeah. Great guy. Even sang karaoke with him and his brother. He and his brother were, in my mind, the best tag team of the last 20 years. So it's titled Rest in Peace, Jay Briscoe. So even if you're not a big wrestling fan, if you have 16 or 17 minutes, I'd really appreciate it if you'd watch that one. So thanks.
Yeah, well, sorry to hear that, man, that, touched you and everything. And right, man, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Jets Chaos, the channel that just gave away the pack of baseball cards.
Football.
Everybody knows. Let's not forget to support Jeremy. He does the weekend games with us over here. He helps out the channel a great deal. He's the producer of the Thursday Thick of It. Let's give him some love. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, it would be a great thing if you could pop over there and do so. Jeremy, what's coming up? You got anything?
Every Sunday night now for the off season, 9 p.m. Dom C is providing position by position, like draft class to learn about every position, like who are the guys. Last week we did offensive tackles. He did the top 10 offensive tackles. He's the best. Let me tell you guys. He in GreenBean, you'll attest to this. He's amazing at researching these guys. So he's going to be going over safeties this Sunday at 9 p.m. So if you want to know, and this is a position of need for the Jets, I think we could even take 2 safeties because technically I think we need 2. But we'll probably go over like the top 10 safeties to look out for in this draft.
There you go, man. Dom C's the real deal, bro. As I mentioned earlier, both Dom C and myself are going to be heading down to the Senior Bowl to give you guys some live on-location content from down there. I could not be more excited. Dom's awesome. And if you don't know Dom C, you should follow him on Twitter and everywhere else. He's great, like Jeremy said. Now, Gunny, what's going on? Now, I put all Gunny's links to his YouTube and Twitter and everything in the description of this video. So if you're looking to follow Gunny, which I recommend you do, you can go ahead and click on those. But Gunny, you got anything specific coming up you want to let everybody know?
Yeah. So okay, I know I've been hit a little bit for 2 week hiatus in terms of my last video. I was trying something different. I figured since I was doing prediction videos for the Jets, we were still losing. I'm a little bit superstitious sometimes. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to shut the hell up. I'm going to go ahead and not post anything because the Jets need to win to get into the playoffs. It didn't work out, obviously. Nonetheless, I do have a recap video of the season currently in the works in the editing process right now. I do currently have my giveaway still ongoing. Now, if you want to know what the giveaway is about, you have to watch one of my videos, one of the last 2 videos, and it kind of breaks it down for you. But it's a pretty good one. It's a really good one, actually. And I guess this is a great time for me to kind of put that out there. If you go ahead and watch one of those couple of videos, you'll see what the giveaway is, and you can be one of the ones finalists to potentially win one of 3 items. But yeah, ultimately, I will have that video up for you guys here this coming week. I've gotten my head out of my ass. I understand now that the superstitious stuff it's out of the water. So now just working on this recap video. I'll have it out there for you guys soon.
We all do it. We all do it, man. We get sucked in. Jeremy and I are doing different jerseys. I'm eating chips every week. We're doing all kinds of shit. We get it, man. So don't forget, let's go over and give Gunny our support. New York Jets Situation Report on YouTube. Again, the links are in the description. And look, dude, Gunny gave away a signed Elijah Vera Tucker jersey on this show last week. For that alone, we got to give the guy a little bit of loving. That's what I'm saying. That is some badass giveawayery right there, man. So look, there's a comment in the chat from one of the beanbaggers, Jacob Finnegan. Now let me see. I think I'm going to do this real quick, just so you got. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. I'm going to play you guys a very quick drum beat in celebration of 2,000 or 10,000 subs. So you got a little, how's that? You guys see the drum set?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Team Bean. All right, let's do it. Oh, GreenBean's going to do it.
He's really going to do that.
He's really going to do it. Look at him.
Oh,
I thought we were going to get the lookalike from Scotland, like the GreenBean lookalike from Scotland.
Beard in the background. You see his little beard? The old coot.
Wow.
Was it real loud and distorted?
That was great. It actually sounded
cool.
really good.
Yeah. Now all we got to do is team you up with the accordion guy, and you could go out on the road.
There it is. Right. Well, there you go. That's for you, Finnegan, and everybody else. I am not a drummer. You just saw the thing I can do on the drums. So there's that. Guys, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you again to Jets Chaos, WA2K, New York Sports Wicker Media, and Gunny Gumby. It's been a pleasure having you guys here. Let us end this show and tell you all I love you. Thank you for the congratulations on 10,000. Thank you for getting me to 10,000, man. I started getting nervous. I didn't know if I'd ever do it. It took like almost a month to get the last 100 subs. So I was starting to get nervous, man. So I appreciate it. Guys, you're the best. With that all said, have a great night. I will see you tomorrow morning for the Good Morning Jets show. See you, everybody.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over there and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.